Why so? You talked about me for about half an hour on the panel when I'm on here, and you got nothing to say. You can start the conversation.
Plenty to say. What do you? So Jordan, you're denying that Islam supports sex slavery with women because you were just on here championing female rights.
His attitude changes while he's talking to
Do you
Jordan.
want to get onto the topic of slavery in general with prisoners of war and things like that? Is that
yeah, okay, let's do that. We'll take it the way that you phrased it. Let's do that.
Okay, go on.
So in Islam, is it a ruling that you can so if you battle somebody, right, you battle a tribe, and then the men even run off and they're still alive, you capture their women and their children, you enslave them, that you're allowed to have sex with them as long as they end their menstruation cycle. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So if a woman, right, you capture her at 7 p.m. and she is on her menstrual cycle, and then you wake up the next day and her husband's still alive, and then she's off of her menstrual cycle, Islamically, are you allowed to have sex with her because she's your slave?
What sort of question is that?
Yeah, well, that's it. Period. End of fucking story.
Why should we worship your God when he ain't do shit for us?
But let's get this understood. First of all, when we using this context of slavery, we have to understand.
Are you going to answer the question? Because you did this the other night.
Hold on. Check this out. When you use the context of slavery, you have to know what slavery is, right? So slavery is to put yourself in bondage, right? To be in bondage, right? So what the white man did was not just put us in bondage.
No. Let's talk about that goddamn Arab. Let's talk about that Arab first.
We're using this term slavery and making it synonymous across the board, which is a very, very big mistake.
So the Muslims didn't enslave black people? Black Muslims didn't enslave black people the way I'm talking about?
Listen.
Hold on, before we move forward, stop. Before we move forward, I am talking about castration. I'm talking about being murdered. I'm talking about not having the right of freedom to read or write what I want. Are you saying Muslims did not do this in the name of Allah to black people?
I'm telling you, Muslims did not do that in the name of Allah to black people.
All right, yo, I'm done talking to him. Yo, we talk to you later. So I can't do this. I'm not doing this. But I'm not going to let no nigga tell me that Muslims didn't oppress and enslave and castrate and lynch and incapacitate, stop us from reading and writing. I'm not going to let no nigga tell me that. In the name of Allah, in the name of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the same damn demon that was used and called upon to enslave our people. You can't get away with that. I would be wrong to allow the people to listen to you speak any further. At least keep it real and say.
أن الإنسان لا يخجل من دينه ويقول لا هذا قبل والإسلام لا يدعو إلى هذا. لا، كن قويا في دينك، أظهر دينك. نعم هذا ديني، نعم. الذي لا يرضى أن يعبد الله تبارك وتعالى.
Hey Jordan, talk to me, man.
So
those who refuse to worship Allah, can you see it there? Those who refuse to worship Allah are enslaved. Let me rewind it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
I don't exactly know who he is. What's his name?
Okay. So because he's wearing a cloth and he's got a beard, are we taking him as a?
So you saying that? Are you saying? Wait. Are you saying that it's not? Wait. Are you saying that it's not halal to enslave someone that doesn't enslave?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I just wanted to know.
So why are you disputing what he's saying then? Because that's literally what he said.
No, but obviously in the context of the video, I mean, the video looks like a bit of a joke video. I hope you bring it more than this, but he's obviously brought a line about.
They're bringing Brother Paulite from.
Yeah, it's really a joke, yeah. But literally, you just admitted to what the dude said that in the video, so that it can't be that much of a joke because you're agreeing with what he's saying. The dude is saying that it's halal for you to enslave, to take someone as a slave if they don't accept Islam, right? That's literally what the dude just said. No. Let me finish my statement first. Yeah, you literally just agreed to what the dude said in the video. Yeah, that it is halal for you to take.
Wait, Jordan,
you didn't agree. So is it allowed to take someone?
Wait.
Is it allowed to take someone as a slave if they don't
Under
accept
what
Now,
Allah.
wait. Let me ask him, Jordan. If a Muslim really jumps on a plane, yeah, from Saudi Arabia, flies to New York City, grabs somebody, sticks him in his suitcase, and brings him back to Saudi, can he, by halal, slave that man then?
Is it what?
Is it halal for him to slave that man?
You mean it's halal for him to slave that man?
If I kidnap someone from New York,
You can't
yeah,
kidnap. You can't bring someone in a suitcase from New York to Finwald, yeah.
all right, whatever,
But
man. Let's say I
if,
snatch the guy.
if this dude, if that guy,
All right, Billy, calm
did
down,
the guy,
Calm down.
listen to,
Calm
bro,
down.
you asked me a question. Let me clarify. Did the guy accept Islam?
Yeah, no, he never. Let's say you're on holiday
Yeah,
with your
then yeah,
wife and
it's
kids.
okay.
One minute.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, so you're on
It's
holiday
halal.
with your wife and kids in Turkey, and I come out of the mountains with my man them, and I kidnap you.
Mhm.
And I said to you, Veli, you're gonna accept Islam, and you're not. No, fuck Islam. Can I at that point slave you?
Yeah, you say that's halal. That's what you literally just agreed to.
Cool.
Did you agree to that or not? Halal or not, though?
But Veli, you said yourself, right? You talked about prisoner of war context, right? And so obviously you're not
No,
fighting.
I didn't talk about prisoner of war context. I just talk about. I spoke about just the threat because he didn't say prisoner of war. He just said, if you don't listen. Let me.
But Veli,
because you already said yes to this, yeah.
Veli,
but now you're trying to.
You played one line. Sarah Garvey has cut one line from some geezer with a beard.
I played the whole video. You've only seen 2 minutes of the video, so I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you need to jump off, rewind, and watch the video, and then come back with your answers to what you're trying to say.
No, I think you need to bring a bit more. You've
already agreed, bro. You've already agreed to the point that I'm making, right? So, like, you can try and do a clean-up job as much as you want, but you've already agreed to that point.
I didn't agree, but go on, play the video.
To enslave our people, you can't get away with that. I would be wrong to allow the people to listen to you speak any further. At least keep it real and safe.
أن الإنسان لا يخجل من دينه ويقول لا هذا قبل والإسلام لا يدعو إلى هذا. لا، كن قويا في دينك، أظهر دينك. نعم هذا ديني، نعم الذي لا يرضى أن يعبد الله تبارك وتعالى فإن.
Is that halal or haram? Those who refuse to worship Allah are enslaved.
In the context of a war, yeah, like you said.
I didn't say about a war. He didn't say about a war. Listen. Stop trying to remix, bro. He said those who do not listen. Read what it says on the screen and then answer the question.
All right, those who refuse to worship Allah are enslaved, right? So I need to answer that as a general thing that anyone can go and enslave somebody. So can I go and enslave somebody who's not Muslim? Hello?
Are you asking me a question about Islam?
Well, okay, so tell me the question you're asking me. Are those who refuse to worship Allah on the screen,
bro? How do you mean? Those who refuse to worship Allah are enslaved. Is this halal or haram?
Well, am I not allowed? So without any situation or context to that situation, I have to answer that.
What context can it be haram in?
You said yourself, Veli, that it's about prisoners.
What is the context that it's haram in?
Okay, if I go to Libya and grab a load of people and capture them and enslave them, that would be haram.
But there's Muslims doing that already.
And that is what your video is painting out. So I'm using your context with Sarah Garvey's chopped up video.
That's Muslims are already doing that. And they're saying it's haram. What do you mean? Behave yourself. These brothers, like, if these brothers would tell you that you're not a Muslim. Yeah, you see the way that you are trying to pretty up the deen and so and so. They would tell you that you're not a Muslim, yeah, and they would lock off your head top cuss. Obviously, what's trying to remix the shit.
Your claim? Are you claiming to me?
The claim is there. The claim is there, yeah. That it says those who refuse to worship Allah are enslaved. Yeah, is that halal or haram? Yeah, and you want to keep trying to say, oh, but what about this? What about that? And what about the other? It's just plain and simple. There, it says it on the tin. Yeah, agree, disagree, or you know what I'm saying?
Oh dear. Okay, so all right, go on, Veli. I want to know, right, if to answer that question, right, if we are talking about the context of the video, right, which is you showed people in a marketplace being sold for like $700, $400. Is it halal to go and enslave these people, capture them and sell them in a market? It's clearly haram by any Muslim standard. And and I can bring you Quran, I can bring you Hadith. You're the one actually making the claim.
Yeah, show us then. Show us. You bring the. While we play the video, yeah, you get up there. Bro, you're echoing even.
Sorry.
Yeah, when you while we're watching the video,
you're the one.
Wait, bro, listen to what I'm saying. While we're making
to me,
bro, while we're making the video, yeah, bro, listen. While we're making the video, yeah, you bring the evidence to show us that it's haram for what them people in Libya are doing, and then for basically 90% of the Arab slave trade in. One sec, sorry, man. Check.
Yeah, can I hear you?
Are you going to bring Veli? Are you bringing anything to the table?
No, because you're the one that's saying you refuse to believe what's being said there. So you need to bring the evidence to say that this is false. Talking about.
Okay, so let me just clarify this, right? Your claim is that Muslims can just go in and capture people and then enslave them if they're not Muslim.
My claim is, that it's not haram for someone that refuses to accept Islam to be enslaved. That's what my claim is.
Yeah. And that's just me going into a land and like grabbing them, right? And like kidnapping them and taking them away, right?
You've got to declare war. Jordan, this is where you've been said you're too smart for your own good. If you declare war on them first, it's fair game.
Yeah, but this isn't a war. This is
you even said that before. That's always, as long as you declare war on them first, you can walk up to them and say, "I declare war on you," and enslave them. No,
even this isn't a war between. This isn't a war between two people. This is people going and capturing people.
Either that, yeah, or even going to a slave market, yeah. Even if we want to be charitable, rocking up to a slave market, buying slaves there, like it said at the very first part of the video, the part that you missed, that was going through the history of the African slave trade, very short history, quick, you know what I mean, like little quick short bits and whatever. Even going to a slave trading market, buying slaves there, and bringing them back to wherever, that's still halal. That's not haram. Or is it haram? Is that haram as well, Jordan?
In the context of those people being captured like that, yeah, that's definitely haram. You're not talking about prisoners of war here. And even in the modern context, the prisoners
buying them from a slave market.
Dude,
Sorry?
I love how Jordan
buying them from a slave market.
No, this is Jordan's thing. He just wants you to he's purposely trying to evade. So here's the thing: when you say a prisoner of war, you're acting like Muslims can't just say we are going to go fight against these people. They can do that. There is no caliphate, right? So that means that they're following state rules or tribal rules, just like in modern the times of Muhammad. It was tribes against tribes. So they didn't even have wars. They had like battles. Try to find one Islamic text that mentions a war with Muslims against the polytheists. There isn't. It's battles. It's just, hey, we're going to go fight these people. And then once we're done with the fight, we're enslaving them. That's the context.
No, that's not true. But why so? Do you agree, right?
That is true.
Calm down. Do you agree, right? Do you agree that the only context of this kind of thing, what we're talking about, is here prisoners of war? It seems like you agree with that.
People who are enslaved are the
Can you
ones
answer the question?
No, because they weren't considered prisoners of war. They were called slaves. So that's what you're doing. Like, you're trying to take 7th century terminology and switch it to modern time whenever it benefits you.
Allah. That's basically what you're doing, man.
I think if Veli plays the video, the fella explains it pretty well. There's 4 options.
Let me keep playing though anyway, man.
It tells you the 4 options. Yeah, kid?
Yeah.
انه يستعبد او يدفع الجزيه او يدخل في الاسلام او يقاتل.
Jordan, explain to me now how he was talking about only in a war situation, right?
Yeah.
Now you explain to me how he was talking in a war situation, because he gave the 4 options, yeah? You accept Islam, yeah? You pay the jizya, you convert, or you fight.
Yeah, well, you fight for the Muslims, right?
No. Or you fight against them, innit? You die, innit? You die and go to hell, basically.
All right. So this is the context. If it's saying you go and you declare war, these are your options, right? Yeah. True.
Bro, why do you keep saying if you go and declare war? Yeah, like it's not an invasion.
And why?
It's still an invasion, bro. Listen, it's still an invasion. Yeah, if the Muslims just go to Africa and say, "All right, we're declaring war on you, stuff," just because you don't accept Islam, yeah. But that's exactly what happened, bro. So behave yourself. That's exactly what happened. Why are you trying to act like that's not what happened? That is what happened.
I'm not making the argument that what the Arabs did was fine. I'm just saying it's not Islamic what they did.
I'm saying it is. I'm saying it is. Yeah. I'm saying it is because what you're trying to do is that Western sugarcoating part of Islam.
What party?
And remember,
we just remix it, bro. And this man's being a real G because he's saying exactly how it is.
Remember,
you're giving him an escape route. You're giving him an escape route. That old chestnut where they say everyone who reads the Bible ain't a Christian. You know, like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. You see it.
Hey,
like everyone who's reading the Quran ain't a Muslim. So
ask Jordan, ISIS are real Muslims, lad.
Yeah,
ISIS real Muslims, Jordan.
ISIS are Muslims.
Or are they not real Muslims either?
Oh my gosh, man! This is why this panel goes
ISIS
crazy.
are Muslim.
Belly made a good point.
ISIS are Muslims.
So Jordan, Jordan, let's focus on this. On what part?
They're not very good Muslims.
Are you claiming it is not Islamic? What part of Veli's claim is not Islamic?
I'm still trying to work out what Veli's claim is. He's talking about the guy on screen.
Dude, it's very simple. It's very simple. Veli's claim is that if Muslims go to another land, let's say, actually, we could just break it down to historic Islam. If they just meet another tribe in the middle of the fucking desert, right? They meet another tribe, they say, hey, we're bringing Islam. And they're like, no, we don't want it. Okay, we have options. You could pay the jizya depending on if you're a Christian, a Jew. Some say Zoroastrian, but that's not 100% inside of the rulings. They say, then, if you don't accept Islam, we're going to fight you. And then they fight, and whoever loses, right, if the people lose to the Muslims, then the Muslims can enslave them. That is the claim. What part of that is not Islamic?
So are you saying, is this Libya, this one, Veli?
How was that not simplified?
Veli, is this Libya?
No, it's not Libya. This is different clips that have been put together. Yeah.
So it's not even we got no example. So I want to know, did the Muslim
listen, this guy here is explaining. He's saying it with chest, the stuff that you're worried about saying. That's basically. I'm
not worried about Veli. I'm not sure.
He's saying that. Listen what he's saying, yeah? Let me rewind what he said, innit? Let me rewind what he said so you can see it for yourself.
What you've done is you bought a random clip, right?
Speculation right now. Let's just play the whole thing and stop speculating.
I just want to
know. Calm down, take a breath.
I'm very calm, right? But Veli's bought a random clip. Like he doesn't know.
Bro, take a breath. No, bro, serious. Take a breath. Let it breathe.
All right, thanks for the advice. I'm gonna breathe a bit. Thanks, man.
like put it in context as well. Veli, one sec.
Called upon to enslave our people. You can't get away with that. I would be wrong to allow the people to listen to you speak any further. At least keep it real and say.
أن الإنسان لا يخجل من دينه ويقول لا هذا قبل والإسلام لا يدعو إلى هذا. لا، كن قويا في دينك، أظهر دينك. نعم هذا ديني، نعم. الذي لا يرضى أن يعبد الله تبارك وتعالى.
Yeah, exactly like what you just said, yeah? Be strong and show them your religion, yeah? Don't be scared and tell them the truth. Those who refuse to accept Allah are enslaved. And then he's going to give the other three reasons, on how you will be enslaved.
Say some more.
Islam.
Say some more.
So he didn't say, listen.
It's fucking. You could walk up to someone and say, we declare war. You could walk up as a gang and say, we declare war on you. And then is that justified then?
Roll up to man and tell man
is it or are we chatting shit? Or you literally could just. What is the declaration of war? Has it got to be written down? Has it got to be said over the tannoy? Like what is the declaration of war?
Even why they say that is because man tried to use 2024 terminate style of these two countries are going to war, it's going to be reported as back and forth with so and so, not rather than the barbaric style of Ra. Differently, we found some new land. There's a lot of space there. These people don't know about our thing, but we're going to overtake it. And they look a little bit disorganized, and we're just going to do what we want to do. You hear me? Like, that's actually what happened. Man's really trying to just refute history, that actual factual history, right? Rather than just accept it. That's why the real dons are the ones that say it like how my man says it on the screen.
I would say with
He says
chest,
it with chest. He says it the real way. This is how it is. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. You get me? Like when it's like that, bro, what can man say to that? Right, yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. And what did he say?
I googled it today. Apparently Liverpool enslaved 1.5 million African slaves. And this is chatting 17 million.
Blue coat school was started from slavery.
That's why it has to be addressed, lad. Has to be addressed.
You know that? Hey, Heathen, you know the Blue Coat School? Blue Coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blue Coat School started via slavery.
Yeah.
It was slave money that started them schools.
Well, the first black mayor of Battersea in London was a black scouser in like 1920. I forget his name.
All right, let me finish that.
لأجل هذا فإن قتلناه فهو في النار وإن أسرناه فهو من السبيل.
Now we got to get into what slavery is. So what you gonna do? Tell me about a fancy rendition of slavery that is different so we can let these motherfuckers off the hook? Are you serious? The one that is trying to present the slave master's trash to you and tell you now that they ain't enslave us. How the hell am I gonna allow him to speak on this show? It's supposed to be for educational purposes. I don't mind disagreeing with somebody, but this ain't gonna be like the other night with Bashir when he's trying to, what's the definition of good? All this craziness. Now, what is slavery, brother? Brother, you know what slavery I'm talking about. I'm talking about us being made into eunuchs. I'm talking about us not being able to reproduce ourselves. I'm talking about us not having the freedom and the privilege to be left to our own vices so we can advance our own society or destroy it of our own free will and of our own accord. That's what I'm talking about. So let's not play crazy when we talk about slavery. You ain't going to give me no fancy slavery, because I ain't talking about no fancy slavery. I ain't talking about no indentured servants. I know what you're talking about. I'm not crazy. I know the willing slavery, indentured servitude that people could go into and then be returned to their family. We're not going to play games like the slavery that I'm talking about didn't transpire within the confines of Islam. That is disrespectful to black people, and you are hiding the facts on behalf of your Arab slave master. You hiding for the Arab slave master, who, in my opinion, is worse than the white slave master. The white slave master monetized slavery and made niggas think it was more impressive to be a slave under the white man than the Arab, because the Arab is so damn vicious to us. You see all those mulattoes running around in Africa right now? You think light-skinned people in naturally populated Africa? They double castrated us and raped the women by the millions. The man in the world leading and most babies ever made was a damn Muslim who had over 10,000 black men in servitude with their penises cut, and had the most women in bondage that were black women, and raped them, every last one of them. And who he couldn't rape, he let his soldiers rape them and watered them down. And that's why you see the coolie hair Arab today that look a little like he's black. It look like he has, phenotypically it looks like he has some black features. And you're gonna ignore all of that and tell me no Muslim enslaved us? You're gonna ignore all of that and see them black features on them Arabs and think that that is natural? All because you're trying to protect the law? You can't do that. Not until you admit Muslims enslaved black people. Hold on. You can't talk until you admit Muslims enslaved black people.
Admit that, boss. Take you and cut you up and rape your women. And
yes.
But they are not Muslim.
I hear you.
The Quran.
They ain't have a Quran in their goddamn hand?
So if you show me in the Quran where it says to castrate them, then I'll say, you know what, Quran? You're absolutely right.
Did Prophet Muhammad have slaves? Did Prophet Muhammad have slaves? Did Prophet Muhammad have slaves?
Prophet Muhammad didn't have slaves, brother.
Yo, I'm out of here. I'm done.
Fucking coon seller. Who the fuck was Bilaldin, you stupid cunt?
Fuck
off, man.
You
bunch of brainwashed fucking morons.
He kind of didn't answer the guy's question, did he? The guy talks about show me the castrations in the Quran. But
Jordan, fuck off, you brainwashed moron.
Ultra,
fuck off, man. Don't make me start again, You're so fucking dishonest. You make me sick.
Wait. Hold on. Because he doesn't.
No, this guy's a stupid cunt. You see how slippery and dishonest this dickhead is?
Ultra, bro.
Fuck off, man.
Chill out,
brainwashed
fucking
moron.
Brother, what are you doing, man?
Just fuck off, Jordan, man.
Ultra, man. You gotta relax, man.
No, fuck Jordan, man.
Brother, what are you doing, man?
Stupid slippery.
Man, behave, man. You're going mad, cuz, man. Jordan, chill out, bro. Let me reply to what you were saying there, because you again, man tried to do a little bait and switch there.
On the castration bit that I point out.
Yeah. So I'm saying that you're saying that because the castration bit isn't in the Quran, that means that everything else that they was doing that was following towards Islam is now null and void. Is that the point that you're trying to make?
Yeah, I would say
because the castration bit is not in the Quran or in Hadith. Everything else that they was doing, which they said was not part of Islam, like this, taking the slaves and so.
No, so there's a hadith example. There's a hadith, for example, where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "If you strike a slave," so there's an example where there's a story of where a slave was slapped, and they went to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and reported it. And the slave had to be freed. So it's an actual way in our jurisprudence that even if you just strike or slap a slave, you have to free them. So the thought of castrating, raping, beating, or the slavery that you're talking about in that video, the Arab slave trade, was a violent, oppressive slavery that was purely it's not Islamic at all, and that's why
carried out by Muslims under Islamic conditions. Yeah, sorry? Some things that they might be doing. You might not class them as allowed, but the people that was doing it at the time was doing it under the banner of Islam, innit?
But
not even that. Jordan just said you're not allowed to strike a slave, meaning that you're allowed slaves.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we doing here?
I haven't denied slavery through prisoners of war. We've already just established that earlier on.
All right. So can you do that today, Jordan? Can you do prisoners of war today?
No, so the scholarly opinion now is vastly that prisons of war wouldn't, because there's prisons. It's changed now, but at the time, centuries back, that used to be a better way than just slaughtering them all, wasn't it? You'd literally integrate them.
So you're saying now you can't do prisoners of war?
Well, it would be a different. There are now prisons, aren't there? There are different aspects. So it wouldn't be. Scholars have said it's not applicable doing it the way it used to be. Basically, two tribes would fight, right? If one would win, it would take the others as captives, take them into their homes, and actually try and reintegrate into their societies. That's no longer needed in current climates with war.
All right. So does that apply to all of Islam or all of Islamic doctrine then? If it's not really applicable, we can just do away with it.
No. I'm not saying that.
You can't, because the extreme people use it.
Sorry.
That's what they're using in Libya. That's what the extreme dudes are using in Libya to snatch off the other immigrants that are coming from other parts of Africa to find work.
Look, like I say, I'm not. This conversation is a serious conversation. That's why I want to try and have it properly, because the Arab slave trade's horrible. It's longer than the transatlantic slave trade. I would say it's different in the sense that it wasn't purely a racial. Yeah, it wasn't. Well, I don't think either of them are, to be honest. I think transatlantic slavery is still very rife. It's just under a different name. But,
What's the name? What's the name of the transatlantic slavery now?
So I would, to give a couple of examples, right? I would say that the way that America have left Africa in debt, so they have to literally mine for thousands of years to pay it off. I would also say that human trafficking is a form of slavery. I could name a few. I would say,
human trafficking is not performed by. It's not like an action that's condoned by any of the governments by the West.
Yeah, no. Well, it's not condoned, no. But look, we are in our smartphones right now, right?
And a lot of the people that are getting convicted of human trafficking, like there's some Muslims in the UK that's got convicted of the human trafficking thing, where they've had like Filipino servants and so,
There's
where
a lot
they've
of
taken
human
their
trafficking,
passport.
really. There's a lot of human trafficking that the authorities are involved with, and that's been proven. They know it's going on, so it's illegal, but there's a lot of underhandedness going on. And I don't know if you want to deny that. But the other thing is, in our smartphones, right? There's a metal, is it cobalt, which is in Africa at the moment. We've got kids mining for our smartphones. They're literally enslaved currently as we speak today. So slavery hasn't really gone anywhere.
It's illegal to own slaves, though, right?
It's what? Sorry.
By European standards, it's illegal to own slaves. Like, there's no condition for you to be able to have someone as a slave.
Well, it's also illegal in the Arab world now as well, isn't it? But it still goes on.
But it's not haram, though, is it? You're interchanging it. When it suits you, bro. Yeah, you interchange it. No, it's not haram.
Oh my word! All right.
Is it haram to own a slave, though?
So you know,
on a level, is it haram for you to own a slave?
Under what context?
To own a slave that doesn't.
Every context, any context.
Yeah. Any of the four contexts that the guy gave you, first of all, yeah.
But really,
someone that doesn't accept Islam, someone that doesn't pay the jizya.
Yeah.
Someone that refuses to be Muslim or whatever, and then someone that they're fighting against. So he covered the other angles as well as war, right? So it wasn't just the first reason. It wasn't just a prisoner of war.
Yes, it is just a prisoner of war.
To put it in context,
it's only the prisoner of war.
So are you denying that, Veli? Are you denying? So it's pretty. Look, I can go and prepare some sort of Quran and Hadith for you, right? If you like, but it's pretty well known, right, that prior to Islam coming down, there was all types of slavery, right? People would volunteer themselves in. People would capture people. It's well known that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, didn't outlaw slavery completely, but he did limit it to prisoners of war only. So that's a known fact, and also it's in the Quran or in the Hadith. You know, there's a Quranic verse, right, that says the way to Jannah is to free a slave.
Peace be upon his slaves, lad. Why don't you ever say peace be upon his slaves that he owned?
Even atoning our sins, right? If we want to atone sins, freeing a slave, these were so there came to a time, right, where there wasn't enough slaves. There were no more slaves left because Muslims were so encouraged to free them. So Islam came down at a time when slavery was rife in all the different kinds, but it was limited. That it's pretty well known that it's limited to prisoners of war. That's not really disputed. And what you tried to do, Veli, is you tried to remix it and say, yeah, but what if I just go over and say we're at war now?
No, bro, it's not. That's exactly what they did, bro. That's exactly what they did, though. They rolled up onto the people, moved to them. If they didn't accept it, then they're either taken as prisoners of war. Bro, listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, for the benefit of you actually hearing why I keep saying that. Let me replay the first part of the video, right? Because it's like you didn't actually hear that part.
Bro, before you go there, let me try to explain. So, Jordan, do you remember when that man was speaking, right? He said that Muslims should be proud and should be proud of the religion of all of it, yeah? And he went on to explain that basically how Islam was spread, like, you know, you had to, when they put up in Africa, you had to accept Islam. If you refused, you were given another option. And the other option was to pay the jizya. And if you refused that, then the next option was to fight. And then if you refuse that, then I guess it was game over, you're out of here, right? So, and then he's now saying, okay, cool, well, they no longer do that anymore. It's kind of been updated and changed. And now, I guess that's what you're saying here. But the fact of the matter is, that was what it is. And that guy said, that man that was
what it is, not how it was.
All right. So that's what it is. And now that guy that was speaking was saying basically, like, just embrace it. This is part of the religion. It was done in Allah's name. Would you agree with that?
No. So I wouldn't agree with that guy. I mean, I think the bit he was saying, and we can listen to the first bit he was saying, he was sort of talking about, I think if he's talking about or fight, he's obviously talking in the context of going up to a people and fighting, right? But I don't know who this guy is. To me, he's not necessarily an authority of Islam. I'm going on If you can bring Quranic stuff, you can bring Hadith, then I can talk about it. But
Dude, that's not a standard that you hold
no,
for
but I'm not
anything other than
taking. Look, why so
polemics.
religious? You're a master of Hadith, right? Bring it. Bring
No,
some.
wait. No, wait.
Yeah, but Jordan,
No,
surely you
not
can
going.
just look at Muhammad and say he had slaves and he was the perfect man. No,
Listen,
was he not the perfect man?
But are you seriously expecting me to go by what that video said from a guy that no one's ever heard of?
Dude,
I'm telling you to go by your prophet, and your prophet owned slaves. So are you gonna say he was wrong to have slaves? Was Muhammad wrong?
No, but I didn't say, did I, that all types of slavery are wrong? I've literally talked about.
No, I'm telling you to say so Muhammad having slaves was right.
Yeah,
so doesn't matter how he got them. We can go into the context and all that of how he got them, but Muhammad just having slaves and being at one with God and being a prophet of God was right to have slaves.
The point that I just spoke up on is that that's not a standard that you utilize. Most of the time in your apologetics, you don't say, "Oh, I don't accept this person as an authority. I need a Quran verse or a Hadith." That's only when you're facing polemics that you say that. So you're using two different standards. What do
you mean? Give me an example. I don't even know this guy's name. No one never heard of him.
I don't think they gave a name, to be fair.
No, but here's the thing, Jordan. This is why your argument is void. Because if we just give you the name and then you say, "Oh, well, I'll look into him," you're doing nothing but evading.
So what you're saying is you can bring any geezer with a beard, any geezer looking Arab with a beard.
This is why
any geezer, and I have to take it.
This panel for so long because somebody.
All right, Neil, you lot. Hey, Waiso, let me play the start of the video again, yeah, so we can see that part. Yeah, because
man,
I want to keep remixing, man.
You have to be.
Yeah, bro. You can just say, "Oh man," or whatever. Yeah, but basically, you've already admitted that what he's saying isn't wrong. Like, but right now you're trying to do a remix of because. Obviously, I don't know what. I actually don't know what they're trying to do.
I've talked about Veli. This is so clear. I've talked about context of prisoners of war. Do you get that, right?
There was no such thing as prisoners of war.
The guy never spoke about no context of prisoners of war. He spoke. That was
I'm not agreeing with him, am I? I'm not agreeing with him, am I?
Well, disagree with him then, innit? Because at first you agreed with him.
Jordan, here's the thing, Jordan. Can you find a hadith or a Quran verse that says prisoners of war? Because that word didn't fucking exist at the time. And now you're trying to use modern terminology to gaslight what historically has been slavery.
But why so religious? You're being disingenuous.
No, you just said
because you know. Veli, sorry, why so?
You just said
you've been in the game long enough.
No, listen. You just said to Veli that you're not going to accept some geezer. So I'm just throwing your same concept on you. You're not going to accept a guy. You need a Quran verse or a hadith to accept Veli's premise. So I'm throwing it back on you that I need a Quran verse or a hadith that uses the term prisoners of war. Otherwise, you're just some geezer on here who's not talking the truth. It's the same thing.
Why so? Why so? Are you saying because you've been in the game a long time, right? You've argued. You probably. I mean, you know a lot about sex slavery. I've heard you talk about that a lot. Are you telling me, right? You disagree with that premise that this is war? They're war captives.
They are.
But you keep saying they're war captives. Like, listen. But wait. Why you keep trying to remix it? Yeah. You keep trying to say they're war captives. Like these Africans went to these Africans went to Arabia, started a war with them, and then they come over, fought off the war, and then took them as captives. That's not what happened, bro. They rolled up onto them.
100%. To them. So this is where I disagree with the Arab slave trade. Right? Is that they went around for domestic reasons. They went around capturing Africans and other people as well. They were white slaves as well.
They declared war on them.
This wasn't war. This wasn't warring nations. This was people going around capturing vulnerable people.
In Islam,
so why are you disagreeing with what we're saying?
Hold on, guys, we're getting
confused.
Veli, I'm saying
in the 7th century with Muhammad, there was no nation.
Because it wasn't even about capturing or war or any of that. It was, I think, in the context of what I took from it, it was literally the spread of Islam that he was mainly focused on.
This is Jordan trying to gaslight. When Muhammad was around, there was no nation state. It was tribes. He had a tribe of people that he called an Ummah, the Ummi, right? They were his people, and then they went around and they battled other tribes. It wasn't the so now you're trying to act like that wasn't what it was. Like you're trying that wasn't a war, that was battles. Now you're trying to say, oh well, I don't agree with them because they were just going around and capturing people. That's the same thing that Muhammad did in the caliphate. There was at the start of Islam.
No, it's not.
And it says in the start of Islam,
No,
in
it's
the
not.
inception, there was no Arabian state. What are you talking about? There were just tribes.
Do you want to play the front bit of the video, Veli?
Yeah, let me play the front bit of the
Yeah,
video.
got you.
Bro, just to make sure we're all correct, okay.
Mit Gebeten hat man sie gelockt. Die Araber bringen bereits im 7. Jahrhundert den Islam nach Afrika und mit ihm die Sklaverei.
Alright, you got the subtitles there, yeah, Jordan? Read it along, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. You should read it.
Do you know what this is referring to, Veli? What situation?
Längste in der Geschichte der Menschheit.
This is referring to the African.
I see. He's talking generally.
He's talking about the.
So what I took from it, Jordan, if you look by the subtitles, it's talking about the spread of Islam. So take note, right?
Mit Gebeten hat man sie gelockt. Die Araber bringen bereits im 7. Jahrhundert den Islam nach Afrika und mit ihm die Sklaverei. Denn wer kein Moslem werden will, wird als Sklave in die muslimische Welt verschleppt.
Did you see that? Yeah, it said whoever refused to become Muslim was deported. So that's what I was trying to say to you in the first place, right? What I was saying, why I came with that point. But that's why I wanted you to see the first part as well in it. So now you understand why I keep making that point, yeah?
Say it.
Whether you agree with the point or not, but you understand why I keep making that point about the it's okay, it's halal for you to enslave someone that doesn't accept Allah.
Yeah, because Muslims have done it in the Arab slave trade. You're saying that's your justification for it being Islam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's your argument, I think it's pretty weak. But yeah, carry on.
Hey, Veli, sorry, I don't know where you lot are at in the thing, but I posted a video it may not be relevant at all, yeah, because I haven't listened, but I posted a video in the group chat. Make it in handy.
Alright, bless up, guys. Bless up, say,
So Veli, just quickly, would you
Just put out quickly, you see it says 17 million, yeah? So what I'm taking from that, there was 17 million people that they could count for now that went through this. But remember, they're not including the ones, I don't know if they're including the ones that became Muslims or the ones that, you see, so I don't know how these numbers work, but this is where
you know that figure's not actually true, the 17 million. It was actually, I think it was 9 million from Africa, but I think the rest were from other places.
In here it says 17 million Africans suffer that fate. This is from a book called Val Genocide, talking about that Arabic Islamic slave trade of Africans.
Yeah. From what I've read,
there was more.
You might be able to listen. Hey Jordan, what you might want to do is grab a copy of that book or whatever, because then if there's any bits in there that are refutable, you might be able to, refute the book and all that stuff.
No, but there was more slaves there was more slaves transported during the transatlantic slave trade, and that was 12 million. The number was 12 million from Africa than the entirety of the Arab slave trade. So
that's what I mean. It's not 17 million from Africa.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be 17
million is the maximum, is the total number.
I'm saying in almost millennia, yeah, there was less. That's how efficient the Europeans were.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just saying stuff without. So here's
and 30% of them were Muslim. 30% of the transatlantic slave from Africa were Muslim.
So here we go. The problem that's going on here, Billy just told you. to read the book and provide counter sources, not just to say, "Oh, I don't accept it." And from what I've heard, that's not acceptable on here.
Yeah, but I've got sources. Look, I've got sources say otherwise. They've got sources. James has also
put the link in. Put the link in.
Veli, would you also then?
If you got a link for a source or whatever, you can post it in the private chat.
I can if you want, but I think to be honest, I don't know that strengthens or weakness any art. It's a lot of people, isn't it? Regardless, but if you want, I can get you where I got 9 million from. But Veli, would you, by the logic you're using for the Arab slave trade, would you call the transatlantic slave trade a Christian slave trade?
Listen to this.
I'm just.
I would say that. Yeah, I could agree that it was a Christian slave trade, because a lot of the people was using Christianity especially it was the Pope that signed off the original Portuguese expedition in the first place. So I would say that's
so let me cut you off, but I literally just Googled it. I just Googled it, and it says the Arab slave trade was most active in West Asia, North Africa, and Southeast Africa, and rough estimates placed the number of black Africans enslaved in the 12 centuries prior to the 20th century between 4 million and 10 million. So that's still less than 17 million.
And why so? Cheers, man.
Yeah. wait, hold on a sec here. It's still fucking 10 million people, bro.
Quick Google search to debunk that. Oh well.
A quick Google
search. You didn't debunk anything. You just debunked how many. You didn't debunk that there was slaves. You just debunked the number of slaves that was taken.
But what I have done is I've debunked your book. Your source for your book is unreliable.
How?
You've debunked the number of slaves. How is that debunked the source for the book?
No, wait. So
what? They've added 7 million black Africans,
and that was a Google search. So how do we know that's definitely?
They've added 7 million 100%. Black Africans. James said 4 to 10. So saying we go at maximum.
Yeah, hold on.
10 million.
But again, guys, before we get confused, again, let me point out before we get confused. I don't know if that 17 million includes what's going on currently today. I don't know if that's where they're getting the numbers from. So
it's the whole trade. They're well-known figures. That's why I knew already.
Well-known figures.
All right, but let me keep playing anyway, yeah, so we can just get to the end of this first part. Yeah, we can't. Now you're trying to do a couple billions, which is still bad.
No, but this is an unreliable video. Big up.
Dude.
Why is it unreliable?
You know what, Jordan? What's funny is any video panel that you're on is unreliable when you speak. We totally told you what Islam has to do with this, and you're just denying it, trying to say, well, I can at least focus on the numbers and then make.
Why are you two not concerned that it's 17 million rather than 4 to 10?
Because the number wasn't the number of people wasn't the thing.
I wonder why. Why are you not?
Listen, the number of people wasn't the thing. Is that the Muslims was coming over to enslave people in the name of Islam.
If I read a book and I found out the stats were that far out, I'd be like, "What? This book's trash."
No, Jordan. So here's the thing. There's
Hold on a sec. Wait, why so? Hold on a sec. Yeah, you're sure? Yeah, if you read a book, yeah, and the stats were out, you would dash out and say shit. Yeah. Yeah,
if it was by what 8 million?
Yeah. What if it was by the creator of the universe and there was mistakes in this book? You dashing out and saying this shit, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that they done with the creation of the world, sun setting in a pool of mud, Prophet Muhammad flying to split in the moon, all these different scientific mistakes, the inheritance mistakes. How come you don't throw away the Quran or the Hadiths?
Meli, I want you to explain to everyone here the story about the sun setting in the muddy pool. Go ahead.
No, so don't fall for this, dude.
Meli, tell us about it.
No, don't fall for this.
That didn't say that the sun sets in the muddy pool. Wait, hold on a sec. No. This is my explanation. That doesn't say the sun sets. Listen.
You're being dishonest. You've got no clue, yeah?
Listen.
You're just firing at me, right? You're just firing at me. Islamophobe argument. You're just firing Islamophobe argument.
This is why you're shook one, innit? Yeah, but this is why you're shook one, bro. Because what you want to do, yeah, is again try bait and switch, but again it keeps putting you more into more shit, yeah. So it doesn't say that the sun sets. Wait, hold on. Does it say that the sun sets in the muddy pool?
No.
It doesn't say that.
No.
Alright. Does it say that Muhammad flew to heaven on a buraq, a winged horse?
Hadith. So
That's
look,
not in the
what you're
Quran,
doing.
Belly.
So
Does it make mistakes? Wait. Does it make mistakes on the inheritance, on the way that you have to divide up the
Jordan,
Belly, you're
inheritance?
making
dude, why
yourself
are
look
you letting
silly, man.
Jordan
Stick
run
on
your
What do
topic.
you mean,
panel,
bro?
dude?
On the
Why are
topic.
you
I've just
letting
showed you
Jordan run
like
your
3,
panel?
4 different mistakes.
You're
You
looking as
nutcase.
stupid
And
as Wiso. You're looking as stupid as Wiso with
what are you
these stuff,
talking
man.
about?
Just
Fucking
stick on
fag,
topic.
Listen,
bro. So
you're
listen,
actually a
Jordan,
nutcase,
I'll
bro.
answer your
You
question.
literally just admitted that it said it flies a winged horse to the moon, yeah, or whatever, to heaven, or whatever. Like, and you're trying to say that that's not a mistake. So you believe that a winged horse flew to the moon? Is that what you believe?
So but it's less saying I said yes to that, right? Firstly, it's not in the Quran, right? So you were talking about a book that I need to throw out if it's not. So you haven't even got that right.
I said the Quran or the Hadith, bro. So you follow the Hadith
Veli,
or
I'm
not?
a theist. I'm a theist.
I
believe
literally
in
said the
miracles.
Quran and the Hadith,
Veli,
bro.
Veli, I'm a theist. I believe in miracles.
So listen, dude, you're just
If
Billy.
you think that makes
You're
me,
letting him sidetrack you, dude. So here's the difference.
is that your
Jordan,
argument, Veli?
Jordan,
It don't
here's
even
the
make sense,
difference.
bro. What you literally what you just said there. Nothing makes
Hey,
sense.
bro, but can I just
This is
say it? Wait, one sec. You guys are. This is like a bit silly. That the source, the credibility of the source, isn't necessarily in question because what is this like? Remember what I read said black Africans, right? And what Jordan's saying is the entirety. Sorry, what you were saying. What Jordan's saying is that the original stat could be referring to, or figure could be referring to, the entirety of all those enslaved, or all those transported, or all those traded during the slave trade, isn't it? So it's like it might not even be the case that the source is wrong. So I just think it's like kind of not that. You know what I'm saying? And
It's
then
not,
the other
dude.
point,
That's not
really,
even the
like
point
he's
of
just gonna, you
contention
know
as
what
well,
he's gonna
though.
say. But you can't do that stuff. You know, like me and you already had this debate. You can't do that stuff with theists, innit? About because remember, whatever you point to as what you think is an inconsistency in their book, they're just gonna say it's metaphorical, it's figurative language. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like you're not. It's not gonna be.
Like, he
Remember
just said
the
it, bro.
person.
He said, bro, James, he just said, yeah, Veli, I believe America. I believe America. Yeah,
Wait,
me. I'm like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
No, that's the point I'm saying. But they're not the same because one is a historical work that's meant to be empirical.
Yeah.
That obviously like is just gonna assume like naturalism. It's gonna assume that there is no such thing as the supernatural when they do their statistics, yeah, or when they do their research. They're not gonna come up and say that it could be both 17 million and 9 million. You know what I'm saying? Like the historian's not gonna say that. So like it's that it's kind of comparing apples and oranges, isn't it? And your major point, if I'm not mistaken, which I posted a link for, your major point is like disputing whether or not the Quran condones or endorses slavery, right?
Yeah, that these
Right.
men
That's
were
the
able to.
That's the actual point. Yeah.
yeah. I run the
Yeah, these
rhythm,
men were
run the
able to
rhythm, and
enslave
put in
Africans.
WhatsApp in it because anyone that's denying that is an unbeliever. Big facts.
Absolutely, you're a kafir.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah,
if you deny that, if you deny
Kafir.
that Allah condones slavery, you're a kuff, bro. Real rap, bro.
Well, Veli,
10 Millionen Schwarzafrikaner trifft.
Sorry, was you going to say something?
yeah. Let's try and have this conversation though, because this is a serious topic. Let's try and have this conversation decent, yeah.
All right, let me finish playing then, yeah? I'll just play this. It's not going to be the whole video. It's just going to be the first bit.
Yeah.
Dieses Schicksal. Die Geschichte dieses Menschenhandels ist in Afrika bis heute ein Tabu. Tidiane Ndiaye bricht das Schweigen. Der senegalesische Anthropologe fordert, die Sklaverei der Moslems endlich aufzuarbeiten. In seinem Buch Der verschleierte Völkermord beschreibt Ndiaye dieses wenig erforschte Kapitel der Geschichte.
Cette première traite négrière en
My bad, sorry, man. I've got the screen massive here, so it's taking me long to slide back down to the unmute button, yeah? But that's the name of the book there, yeah? If you want to copy of anyone in the chat, Jordan listening, anyone on the panel or whatever, The Veiled Genocide, Senegalese anthropologist wrote this book or whatever, yeah? So,
Dude, it doesn't matter about the number. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Can anybody hear me? I'm not on
Yeah, it doesn't matter where.
Okay.
So read it
So
anyway.
the point is, if it's one person, no, the point, because here's the thing, historical numbers aren't going to be accurate because nobody really kept the numbers that have survived. But the concept is still the same. If they've enslaved one person and it's due to Islam, then that's the whole issue.
It doesn't, being wrong by 10 million is no biggie.
No, so you notice that you're nitpicking on that because you think that it saves your argument.
Veli said to read the book, so either read it or not, innit? It's up to you.
No, that's actually, he was telling you to read the book because you're the one who's contemplating the numbers, saying that that's not true. So that doesn't really affect me. But the whole premise here is, even if it's 1 to 19 or 17 million, whatever the claim is, the fact is that there's even one person that was enslaved just through the justification of Islam, then that is the point.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is that when the stats are that far out, I'd probably be likely to believe this is an Orientalist book.
Okay, whatever, dude. Just move on.
Okay,
it's obvious. You want to stick on one thing so that you don't have to talk about the real topic.
Being intellectually honest is important, but if you don't want to be, it's up to you.
Wait, what is what is the contention? Like, what do you reckon Jordan's disagreeing?
James, the contention is
he's disagreeing, that they came. He's disagreeing that they enslaved Africans.
Everyone spoke.
Yo, you hold on, yeah. The disagreement was,
Jordan.
All right.
Jordan over here asking for a chain.
Why so chill, man?
Yo, why so kills his own shit? Why so? Hold on a sec, yeah. Was that the point? Yeah, I made a point in the video of where the guys are saying that they came to Africa to enslave non-Muslims, right? And it says that, and the last guy at the end sort of confirms that man can enslave anyone that's a non-Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they roll up and they say, "Well, are you Muslim?" and you say no, then obviously that can sort of be a reason to start the slavery litigation, shall we say, or whatever.
All right. But can I just let me just jump to the end of this, yeah? If it's not in the Quran or Hadith, this guy's not going to accept it. Jordan's not going to accept anything. You can show him a million years of Arab history.
That's really what we was trying to. That's what we was trying to get to as well, yeah, right? Because I was saying that obviously, if you can show any hadith or scripture that shows that what my man is saying is false, yeah, what the last guy at the end was saying is false, like the 4 conditions that you're able to take a slave in Islam, then do you know what I mean? Obviously, you proved that.
No, but he's just gonna shift the burden and go show me in the Quran and Hadith where it's true.
If Veli's calling it, James, if Veli's calling it the Islamic slave trade, I would call it the Arab slave trade, because I would argue that castrating, capturing, oppressing would go against the Islamic. I'm not denying slavery, but I would obviously deny that term of slavery.
Are you saying?
And I'm just saying, you know, Veli's bought a documentary from Sarah, I don't know, something, and some sheikh we don't never heard of, and I was just asking for more. Go on.
Wait, but why so religious? This is your fucking time to shine, bro. You should be the researcher. You should be no, but you should be the look. Why so? Look, use all of your Islamic expertise and Hadith knowledge now to provide scriptural proof for all of the things Jordan, that's claimed in the video.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Jordan doesn't want me to speak. He constantly interrupts.
No, it's not about speak. Come with the Hadith.
You guys are making the claim too, so you should really be proving that this is Islamic.
No,
but it did before by saying that Muhammad have slaves. Did the people around them have slaves?
No, that's what he said.
He said the people around Muhammad didn't castrate them. Sorry, lady. Sorry.
Yes, I want to say this, because here's my problem with this, Jordan. I listened to you and I kept quiet. You tried to come on the panel and say, well, hold on, before Islam, slavery was going on, blah, 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 and then Islam came and made it better. That's a lie. That's why I'm arguing. I don't know what Veli's getting caught up with this numbers business with you.
No, that's not. So Lady Divine, right? So I would say what I'm saying is, right, that sort of slavery was around, right? And then Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, put certain things in place. Now, I'm not saying that it got better, because the Arab slave trade, an example of, you know, greedy human beings going, you know, not listening and taking it worse. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying this is what Islam says. And Veli basically Veli's opening line, right, was because Muslims do it, that means it's Islam. And I'm saying that can't be your standard. We're gonna have to go a bit deeper than that.
Dude, but
Can I say one thing? Wait, wait. Just everyone, 1 second. Just 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let me ask Weiser one question really quickly. So the claim, yeah, that if I happen upon you and I'm a Muslim and you're not a Muslim, then I'm allowed to enslave you. I can enslave you. There's some precedent, i.e., the Prophet did it or the Prophet condoned it. Blah 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 blah. Can you find scripture? Any scripture, hadith, or Quran?
So what I can do is I can show that the concept is you can enslave anybody that you fight against. So we can show that through scriptures, hadith, or we can open it up to scholarly consensus, or to tafsirs and stuff. That if Muslims come across and if Muslims decide to wage jihad, right? Then they wage jihad against a group of people. They fight them. If any of them convert, they do not get into enslavement. If they do not convert, then they are allowed to be enslaved. As far as castration goes, castration is allowed inside of Islam as a form of blood payment, which means if somebody castrates somebody, let's say in battle, right? Somebody chops off their sword, hits somebody and chops off their penis in battle. After that battle is chosen, if they decide to, they can castrate that person as blood payment. It's completely acceptable. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it's black and white, dude. It's very simple. That it's like, but you're also talking about Jordan, who has claimed that slavery in Islam is no longer allowed. And when I've asked him why,
I never said that.
Because if the claim is because nobody does it anymore, then that's obviously
No,
not
I never
true,
said
because
that.
You have said that slavery
That's
is
a
not
separate
allowed
point.
in Islam
That's a
anymore.
separate point, but I'm just saying the scholarly consensus.
It's to show.
Look, do you want to know what I said, or it's just
Oh my gosh, dude. So you have made
all
the
right,
claim,
whatever, man.
and you have made the claim, and the reason I'm bringing it up is to show that no matter what we say to you, you'll say, "Oh, well, that was that time."
No, if you bring me a hadith, right? I'll bring you a hadith, right?
What?
I'll bring you a hadith.
What are you? What is this? What is the context or this hadith that you want?
What if I show you a hadith that that a free man can't be consumed at a price? So it means you can't capture a free man.
Nobody has made that claim.
Explicit teaching.
Nobody. So what I said was, if they declare jihad on a group of people, then that means that they are going to wage war against them. And after the war, if they're victorious, they enslave people. Once again, you're not following. That's the reason you just want to keep going to whatever you think is prominent in the conversation. I'm explicitly said that it's about jihad. No. I explicitly said that. So then you want to say, but what if I bring you a hadith where Muhammad actually did what you just said, where a man died, he had 5 slaves, a man died, and he didn't have a will. So Muhammad, he freed all of his slaves before he died. Muhammad rounded up those former slaves, made them draw straws, and put 2 of them back into slavery. So Muhammad did exactly what you're saying he did that isn't allowed in Islam. What about that hadith?
So the idea, what I'm basically claiming, my whole premise here
is that rounding up free men because they were freed from their master. He died. Muhammad rounded them up, made them draw straws about who would go back into slavery. So by Islamic ruling,
these have got nothing to do with the Arab slave trade. What you're saying.
I just disproved what I just
you
did.
You haven't disproved anything.
I just disproved one of your claims that
Islam. You literally just proved that Muhammad let a couple of slaves go, then told them to pick straws and put a couple of them back into slavery. So that in turn means that they enslaved free men, like you said they're not allowed to do. That's Prophet Muhammad, not any of the other followers. The main man.
Say it again about. It's not about. That's not the same. Saying they draw straws to put them back there, so they're already in slavery, right?
No, they were freed.
No, he freed them.
They were freed, so they were enslaved.
Yeah, they were enslaved. He freed them. They draw straws. 2 of them went back into slavery.
All right, pass me the hadith number. So
wait, before I do this, will it show that what you just said about how you'll have a hadith that you're not allowed to go round up people for a price or whatnot? Will that show that there was a free man? There was a man. He had slaves. He freed them. He died. Muhammad enslaved 2 of them by drawing straws. Will that counter the argument that you just made that is un-Islamic?
No, but it's explicit about this type. Look, if you show me that, I'll look into it. But I'm pretty sure there's a context to that, and I'll look at it. But
oh my gosh, I just told you it. This is why I don't waste.
Yeah, I'm not going on what you've.
You literally told me that you're trying to be dishonest now, though, innit? Because like you said, yeah, would you accept what the findings are, yeah? And you're not saying yes or no, innit? You're saying no. I'll look into it or whatever.
I've produced, right. So mine is Bukhari 2227, right? Sahih Bukhari. Sorry, Bukhari. So I've given the reference to that, and my hadith is explicit, right? Obviously, his one is contradicting the hadith, right? So I'd need to have a look at what's going on, and why would I necessarily take his one? I need to have a look, don't I?
Oh, all right, then I'll be back.
On this topic, Veli, we're talking about Arab slave trade as a whole. I've talked to you about not being able to strike the slave, not being able to castrate the slave, all these things. Have you addressed any of that yet? Because like I say, you're saying it's Islamic.
Because I haven't addressed any of that yet. But I did make the point of saying, are you saying that if any of the conditions that they was meeting out for the slaves are not haram, are not halal, does that mean that the rest of does that mean that it knows all the other conditions of it being an Islamic slave trade? So that if it says that they're not allowed to beat them, but they beat them, they cut their dicks off, or they made them force them into whatever conditions they wanted to be, does that mean that it's not that the rest of the thing was not haram now?
Yeah, it would certainly mean, right, that they're not behaving Islamically, right? It would certainly add towards this not being an Islamic practice. If you're talking about,
it would still mean that there was Muslims that. It does mean that there was Muslims that were still slaves owners.
We're not even talking about warring. We're not talking with the Arab slave trade. We're not talking about people declaring war on each other and taking captives. So even though we've gone along with this straw man, we're literally talking about a case of people going into lands and just kidnapping them. And we're talking about these sort of contexts. So I'll address what Waiso's saying.
That's what they were doing, though. Really. That's what they did, though, isn't it? That's why we're saying, like, yo.
Can I just put out what I
someone's reversing it?
Jordan, I noticed that you keep.
Who's that reversing, man?
Not me, man.
James, mute up, James.
No.
Yeah, so what I've noticed is Jordan, whenever Jordan's talking
so
to
here, I put it in the back chat. One
second, my hold on. So I noticed that when you're talking to Waiso or Veli, you keep referring to this Arab slave trade. But if you take note on the video, Africans on the continent are not referring to it as no Arab nothing. They're saying Muslim slave trade, Jordan. Look at the words there.
What you're claiming that this video is from Africans, right? That this is what Africa is saying.
What I'm saying is, if you listen to when the Africans are speaking, they are not referring to it as an Arab slave trade. They are saying Muslim slave trade. Yeah,
Val genocide was written by a Senegalese anthropologist.
Do you think, lady, you can genuinely say that?
I just got off the panel for something.
You're talking on behalf of Africa that they're calling it the Islamic slave trade.
No, I'm telling you what they're saying. Listen, read the subtitles when they're speaking and listen to what they say.
You're telling me what the documentary's saying, yeah.
Right.
You're not telling me what Africa's saying.
These are they not Africans speaking?
The people that are in the documentary are at least representative of some Africans that were affected by the Islamic slave trade, right?
Yeah, but so we can say this isn't Africa, right? Because they tried to make it out that like the whole of Africa is saying this, which is not.
Bro, listen. So, can I
ask you a question? Maybe a straw man.
Because it's what you're doing, yeah. Because again, like you're saying that basically now we have to get the whole of Africa to say.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Lady D can't make that claim. I'm aware that an African may have written this book.
Make that claim. It's literally happening in front of your face, and you're still in denial.
Okay,
So
so let's do
your
this.
claim
Let's
is that
focus,
Africa are saying this, right?
dude. Let's
I'm
focus on one.
claiming, my claim is this:
What was-
Africans are speaking to you from the continent, and they are not calling it what you're trying to get us on the panel to call it, which is
Are you
Arab
talking about
slave trade.
Africans as a
What
whole?
they are calling, 1 second, Jordan. What they themselves are calling it, if you read what they're saying, is Muslim slave trade. I'm just pointing
Oh,
it out.
so what I'm reading on the screen, is this a representation of Africans?
It's a representation of that fella on the screen, yeah.
It's a representation of Africa, of them Africans out there. But
It's
sorry,
one guy.
why so did bring that? Wait, why so did bring that hadith though? You know that he was
Yeah,
asking.
nice
for,
shift,
so
Veli. Nice shift.
in the back.
Let's have a look at it.
No, it's not a nice shift. You literally asked him for the hadith. What
You
are
know
talking
what
about?
Lady
How
D
the
said
fuck is
there?
that even a
Really,
shift?
man.
How is
Yo,
it
why?
silly?
Yo,
It's
hey,
not even
Belly,
silly.
look,
None of the claims
look,
that-
you
No,
man,
it's not.
you man. Why so and Belly? Why do you not let him troll you like this? You know he's
Yeah,
like,
because it's bollocks, isn't it, man?
you're just gonna
Man
throw in
chatting
these
shit,
little
because man ain't
bombs
even chatting
in the
nothing
hope
serious.
that man come off the topic. Like, just come on, man. This have
Can
the
I throw a
conversation in a
straw
good way.
man? Can I throw a straw man out there and just say,
Bless you.
under Islam, under the sort of Islamic sort of view of slavery, could the British justify slavery and not have to apologise it under the
Nah, because
guise
they're not Muslim. They're not Muslims,
of the
innit?
fact that I'm just hypothetically under the
I'm saying I'm responding to
Islam
what you're
shouldn't be able
saying.
to criticise it then, James.
No,
Criticise
they should though, because they're not
if we were to
Muslim.
say we were at war with these Africans that we were enslaving,
Yeah,
the
no,
Arab
they're not
world or
Muslim.
the Muslim world shouldn't be able to criticise the
But you're not
British
listening
slave
to what I'm
trade.
saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying because they're not Muslim. Like, as in, like, for instance, yeah, it's like let's say we play Simon Says, yeah, and fucking, Simon Says shoot a basketball and I shoot a basketball, and you shoot a basketball, you'll say we're doing the same thing. I'm like, well, no, I'm not, because I have to do what I have to do because Simon said it, innit? When Simon says it,
No, I'm not.
when you say it, it doesn't really matter.
No. What I'm saying is, as long as it's enacted. No, this is what I'm trying to clear up. Is if it's acted under the guise of we're at war with those people.
No.
Regardless whether you're Muslim or not, does that make it right?
No, it's at war with the Muslims. It's the people that are at war with essentially the people. You know what I'm saying?
James, did you say I'm trolling?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, you do that though, like in the middle of a conversation.
But if you check out, Lady D basically said to me, right, I need to listen to what Africa are telling me, and we're watching a documentary of one guy. Can we get things into? I'm only calling things out. We have to. Let's try and be a little bit adult.
No, what you need to do first.
I feel like I'm
you see,
trolled.
you're trolling. 100%.
I feel like I'm getting trolled.
Confused. So what I'm telling you is, I've noticed you're on the panel trying to get us to say the Arab slave trade. But if you listen to the Africans that are speaking on this thing, yeah, they're telling you they don't call it no Arab slave trade, which is what you're trying to. And I notice you keep doing that. You keep trying to distinguish Arabs from Muslim, and they're telling you it's the Muslims. They came into this place. This is what they're doing to us. This is what we're on the continent fighting this, and you're still up here in denial, trying to talk about, well, when Islam came, it helped the slavery. He never did none of that. This is how it was spread. He's telling you how it was spread, and you're still up here in denial. I don't understand what you're not hearing here.
No, so I'm not denying, right?
Dude, I got off the panel to get this. Jordan, do you want this hadith or not? Because
I'll have a look. I'll have a look.
So soon.
Do you want to play the rest of the video or something?
Did he just cut out? Wait, did he just cut out? What happened?
Play the rest of the video, bro. Maybe he's not getting the video, but play the rest of the video.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, you cut out while you're speaking, bro.
Okay.
You literally started the sentence and then you cut out when silent.
He was about
I sure did say that, Ghost, and I stand by saying that, Ghost, as well. I stand by saying that, Ghost.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Y2. Drop your bars, cuz. You got Boris, son. Hey, why so?
Yeah.
Where are you, why so?
So listen.
Come on, bro.
Whyso's about to hit with the 8 mile. Whyso's about to hit with the 8 Jordan with the 8 mile shit. You know what I'm saying? I am white. I am a fucking punk. I do live in the trailer with my mom.
Oh man, Clarence lives with his parents.
Like
I'm
I
still
tried,
standing here screaming, "Fuck the Islamic world!" Sorry.
dude.
There you go.
I do my.
Oh, you
I'm
keep cutting
actually
out. You know why? So you
Yeah,
start
bro,
your
you stop,
sentence
bro.
and
We're
then it
waiting. I
goes
swear.
silent.
So
Bro,
Nah,
listen.
he's
Keep
trolling.
your
He's
screen on
trolling. He's
StreamYard.
trolling. He's
Why
trolling.
so?
He's
Why so?
trolling.
Keep your stream on StreamYard because as soon as you go to YouTube,
well,
it's
I
cutting
can't read
your
it.
voice.
Okay. Then somebody read the
All right, post
hadith
the
in the
link
back.
then, innit?
It is. It's
Post
in
it.
the
Post
The
it.
link's
back.
in the back. It's in the back. It's in the
Yes.
back.
All right, let me see if I can read it. Oh, actually, wait. Can you not take all the can you not copy and paste the text and put it in the private chat? Then you can read it. Do you know what I mean?
Fine.
Why so? Actually, you know what? Let me do it for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Why? What that's happening? Let me finish playing the rest of this little front bit.
Okay, I got it right now. A man emancipated 6 slaves at the time of his death, and he had no other property. The prophet was informed about it. He cast lots among them, emancipated 2, and retained 4 in slavery. So this
So how
is.
were they free men? How were they free men? It says 6 slaves.
Did you not just see that he emancipated? What does emancipate
He
mean?
emancipated 2 of them. He let 2 of them go, and he kept 4.
No, a man emancipated 6 slaves. A man emancipated 6 slaves at the time of
Why,
his
sir? Are you
death.
trolling me?
Dude, do you not
That's what he
understand?
said though. He said a man emancipated 6 slaves, innit?
No,
And then
but
he
the
said,
whole
what
thing
about
was
the
a
2
free
slaves?
man. I gave a hadith saying that a free man
Yeah.
can't be.
What does emancipated mean, bro? What does that mean?
Yeah,
Does that mean that you're still a slave or you're free?
no, but he said emancipated 2, and then
Emancipated 6 slaves.
At the time of
no,
his
And then
death.
took 4 back.
Doesn't say 6.
All right, read it again, why? So read it again, why?
Emancipated 2 and
No, he
retained
didn't. No, he
4.
did say he did. He said he emancipated 6. He did say that.
A man
Oh,
emancipated
so yeah,
6
but at
slaves
the end
at
it
the
says
time.
emancipated 2.
A man emancipated 6 slaves at the time of his death, and he had no other property. The prophet was informed about it. He cast lots among them, emancipated 2, and retained 4 in slavery. So these people were freed at the time that their master died. He had said that they should be free. Muhammad's like, nope, not having it. And then he rounded up the 6 people and made them draw lots and enslaved 4 of them when they were already freed.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got it. I've got it in the back. I've got it.
there is one. There is like. Anyway, let me not. It's up to Jordan, bro. I'll let Jordan give his results.
Bunny.
So yes,
Oh, we
it
should
is
get the
sovereign.
countdown music. Someone should play the countdown music. Hey, lady D, you can be Carol Vorderman.
This is that way you're giving Jordan all these fucking
That's years ago, man.
out of James. You need to still.
No, I know.
That other one,
Do you know what
Rachel.
I like. Rachel. She's a banger. Rachel's a M1 stinger.
She said, what?
Don't let Raven
when they
hear
got
me
her to
say
spell
that.
Bamba Clout, Rachel.
Oh, what's his name in it?
So Jordan, does that contradict your concept that you have a hadith that you read about not just going around rounding people up and enslaving them for coin or whatever the fuck it is? Because if, as far as I know, except for like marrying more than 4 wives, essentially whatever Muhammad did, Muslims are allowed to do. Like that's the reason Muslims are allowed to marry girls. You know what I'm saying? They're allowed to marry prepubescent girls. It's because Muhammad did it. It's not like that's not like it's a Quran verse that says it's okay or a hadith that says it's okay, like the stipulation that you tried to make earlier. It's the content of Muhammad's life that people are allowed to imitate. So what I would say is that, yeah, if a man somehow dies and has 6 slaves, then and he emancipates them before he dies, a caliph could come and say, you know what, Muhammad made 6 slaves draw lots and enslaved 4 of them, so that's what we're gonna do.
Wait, hold on. What? Wait. Jordan, you haven't even given your response yet, innit? Fucking hell.
No, he's
What are your thoughts,
quiet.
bro?
Hello. Yeah, one
Hello,
second.
mate.
I'm on my phone. I'm just gonna get my laptop and I'll have a look. I'll have a look at the.
Hello, mate. Oh, you don't believe it? What are you saying? You think it's inauthentic?
Jordan was eating the bacon roll, cuz.
No, it says
No, hold on. Hang about. Hey, look. Give us your gut
Hang
reaction,
about.
like your first. Hang about. Listen. Don't mess me about, Jordan. All right.
Look,
Give us like
It's
give us
obvious.
your like your kind of instinctive reaction.
Well,
It's
first gut
obvious.
reaction is obviously this has been given by the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's something that it's not been given by anyone, right? So that's the first thing that's come to my head, and I just want to look at
Peace be upon his slaves as well.
No, but morally, stuff for a lot. But no, morally, like, what do you think? Like, does that sound like a good or bad thing to do? Granted, listen, I'm just talking about your first reaction, first blush, yeah, first glance. What, like, do you think it's like a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think?
I think it would depend on the situation and what's going on with them, wouldn't it? But
Yeah, but I'm just saying that first blush.
It's a very short.
No, wait.
hadith.
I just want to say. I want to say though, your whole stance earlier was that it was moral. Islam slavery was moral because they couldn't just get people and enslave them. But now I show that Muhammad allows for free people to just be rounded up and enslaved. Like I just showed, so that would contradict your moral concept from earlier.
Are there any more? Why so? By the way, or is this the only one?
No, there's more, but I mean, there are more that go into more depth about how it was actually.
Can you keep cooking?
Hold on.
But surely, James, surely everyone knows that he enslaved villages when he was going around conquering.
Oh, no. Well, they want to say if basically Weisel's challenge is to show that Muslims can be to show that free men can be enslaved, right? If they but that not enemy combatants. But the ones in which the villagers were enslaved are either going to be enemy combatants or women and children, and a lot of times the justification is for their own good. So if you just show a free man who's been enslaved that didn't pose any threat to any Muslim or Islam, then that would counter Jordan's point. But now, just back to Jordan, I genuinely am interested, brother. Like, what is your first reaction? Like, I'll give you mine. I think that sounds kind of fucked up, especially when it's like, yo, these motherfuckers probably been suing for their freedom for the entire period they were enslaved by that particular master. He gives them his free. One second, he gives them his freedom, and it's like the Prophet comes and just overrules it. It's like, nah, mate, 4 of you are still going to be slaves.
No,
that kind of sounds like it sucks, doesn't it, Jordan?
So
what do you think?
I have another hadith in this one because Jordan tried.
Wait.
No,
right. No, you're gonna go. I swear you're gonna go. Just let him speak now. Like Jordan, I think that sucks. It sounds fucked up. It sounds like shit, innit? For those 4 guys that are still slaves. What do you think?
So
one sec.
Yeah.
Let him say.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine you're a slave about to be freed, and then you're not. Yeah.
So then
it sounds like the Prophet did a bad thing, innit? Kind of. Like at least that first glance.
I'm not saying that.
Jordan tried to.
For what? You just said it sounds bad.
James, this next hadith counters his argument also.
So
then he tried to say that, this was the Prophet, this was Muhammad. So he's trying to act like this isn't something that could be an Islamic rule. Now, here we have in Mutwa Maliki, which is Jordan claims is a book of fiqh, which, I mean, in a way, but not really. So Maliki related to me from Rabi ibn Abi Abd al-Haram that a man in the time of Ibn bin Uthman's emirated freed all his slaves and did not have other property than them. Uthman took charge of the slaves and they were divided into 3 groups. Then he drew lots on the basis that whichever group drew the dead man's arrow would be free. The arrow fell to one of the thirds and that third was freed. So here we have an example of a caliph, not Muhammad, who did the same thing as Muhammad, who was like, hey, this dead man just freed all his slaves. And Uthman's like, no, ain't having that shit. So go get that dead man's arrow and we're going to throw it up in the air and we're going to see who it lands on to enslave or to free people. So Jordan's counter argument just a moment ago is null and void, that this is not just a Muhammad thing. This is actually a jurisprudence inside of Islam.
Yo, what was that? A mic drop from YSO, yeah? Saying that, man. I'm gonna keep playing the video, yeah, while everyone's you know what I'm saying, yeah? Their wings and all that, saying that, I know.
Well, yeah, kid, I'm gonna
Der
go for a shower and
muslimische
that, but
Sklavenhandel war der längste
I'll
in
be
der
on YouTube.
Geschichte der Menschheit. Er währte 13 Jahrhunderte und hatte viel mehr Opfer als der Sklavenhandel nach Amerika, der 400 Jahre dauerte. Und das Traurigste daran ist, dass die meisten der Verschleppten unglücklicherweise keine Kinder bekommen konnten, weil sie kastriert wurden.
In die arabische Welt, in die Türkei, nach Persien und nach Indien werden die Schwarzafrikaner verschifft. Oder sie werden durch die Sahara nach Nordafrika getrieben. Viele sterben schon bei den Überfällen auf die Dörfer, viele an den Strapazen des Transports.
Yo, so you see that there, yeah, where I was saying, yo, they raided villages. Man keeps trying to act like the man them didn't run out to the spots. Or actually, man is saying, anytime man is admitting that side though, man is just saying Islam and Arabic slave trade. Yeah, anytime that, but I'm saying, like, I'm not counting that as Arabic slave trade. I'm counting it all is carried out by Muslims. I mean, you just can't just say the parts that you don't like is the Arabic slave trade, and the parts that are halal now, or by your standards, yeah, that's the thing, Rob, because it don't even make sense, man.
So, Jordan, what's your response after what I just read to you? Because from all accounts that I have, it contradicts what you said, which you can't, in Islam, you can't just take a free person and enslave them. I gave Muhammad and I gave a rightly guided caliph that did the same thing from a book that you claim is a book of fiqh, of jurisprudence inside of Islam. So apparently, you know, it seems like there's an issue here. If your moral conduct was talking about Islam is morally good of slavery because it can't take free people and enslave them, I just proved that in Islam you can do that. All right, I think the deed is done. I'm gonna pop off here. Y'all be safe.
Yeah. So obviously we beating Jordan into submission, yeah? Okay, you ain't gotta be a slave though, George, bro. Yeah, you're still free, yeah? Alright. So who wants something else? Type 1 in the chat, yeah? Type 1 in the chat, yeah, cause man's choking on mum's spaghetti right now, you hear me, cuz? Yeah, type 1 in the chat, cuz, man, if you want to move on to a new topic. What? Yeah, let me know, man. Number 1, no. Yeah. All right, get ready, yeah? Who's ready? All right. Yeah, man, the steaks well done, cuz, man, you know what I mean? We just slapped down some peppercorn sauce pan, you know? Some onion rings and chips and that, and you know what I mean? Like, so,
Veli, what are you doing?
let's go to number 2. Huh?
What are you doing?
Talking about how the meal got bun up, do you get me? Yeah, we're moving on to the next topic now, still, man. So
before James come and derail it again, roll the video.
Mark, yeah, right, yeah, we're done with Islam now, man. We're gonna move on to something else, though. Still.
Yo, is everyone moved on?
Yeah, we moved on still, man.
Oh man,
it took too long to revive your thought, man. You know what I mean? Like people would just become silent.
Hit and run, right? Just when I went to go and see what the hadith meant, and hit and run.
We can go back to if you want, though, bro. Like
I didn't even get to say a damn thing. He allowed James to come fuck up the whole thing. Why so to go on a whole nother thing? I didn't even get to say what I would allow it, man. Yeah,
well, I don't really know a lot about the Assange thing, but yeah, happy to continue with it, or if you guys want to move on to.
Whatever, man. Oh man, my knee left or right, mate. So you saying what?
So basically, the YSO gave a hadith right about talking about these people that are emancipated 6, right, and then kept 2 and get 4. And basically, in the situation, it wasn't the way the emancipation wasn't a freeing of the slave. So these basically inherited them, and the Prophet peace be upon him sorted it. So it wasn't free men, because like I say, that would go against other hadith that are categoric. Like there's one hadith I saw that said, if you were to enslave a free man, Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him would stand against you on the day of judgment. So it's quite categoric.
All right, but like, although it's not, or it might not be, you might be stuck trying to find a hadith that says that it's okay to free men. You're not making the claim that there isn't Muslims that had captured free men.
No.
Just so saying that it's not Islamic.
I'm definitely like you, Veli. I would be against the Arab slave trade. My point is that it clearly is not Islamic, and so that would be that's the differentiation between us, isn't it?
Right. You see, that's the only beef that we really got though, is because that the people that were carrying it out was doing it, trying to say that it basically was Islamic what they was doing. Although you can find hadith to say that it's like, or it's hard to find hadith to confirm that this is definitely Islamic what they was doing, the extra bits and the so and so.
Yeah.
But
no, I've got no doubt that some of them may have said they were doing it in the name of. I would actually disagree with you, Veli.
I've got a mute for a sec, yeah. But
I would disagree with Veli when he's talking about the transatlantic slave being a Christian slave trade. I would say that they may have been doing it in the name of Christianity, but they were not. They were not. They were either distorting the texts or So I wouldn't.
Yeah, but the first Christian slave mission that got signed off by
look, they had a
Pope in Rome, right?
They got a Bible they got slavery Bible. It's mad.
No. Bro, before the slavery Bible, slavery was sanctioned by the Pope first of all.
Yeah,
it's like the head of Christianity in Europe, isn't it? So as far as I'm concerned, it is okay to say that Christianity is mixed up in slavery.
Yeah.
So because it was signed off by.
If you call it the Christian slave trade, I mean, you can use the Pope, but I think you would have to, if all the actions inside that slave trade were going against what the Bible teaches, then I think you can't call it the Christian. You can't call it, in my opinion.
All right, so why was the Africans on the continent calling it the Islamic slave trade? Or they didn't even say Islamic, sorry, they said Muslim.
So I would say that I would take hazard a guess, and that's what we're really doing, that Africa in general would not call it the Islamic slave trade. They would understand the difference. There's a lot of Africa that was actually Muslim themselves. So I doubt they're all saying, they've got Muslim neighbours in Africa.
I see it differently, Jordan, and I'll tell you why. Because the man was very specific when he spoke, and he said, literally, when they came to spread Islam, and that's the reason why they call it the Muslim, not Arab, not Islamic, but Muslim slave trade. And he said they were given 4 options. There wasn't a 5th. That's what he literally said. The first option was to accept Islam. So that's showing you that's the spread of it. The second option, if you refuse, was to pay a jizya. And then if you refused after that, the third one was to fight. And if you fight after that, then I guess the next one is done.
See, there's no, the Arab slave trade. We're not going up to people and giving those conditions. That sheikh was giving you a sort of his opinion on the Islamic jurisprudence of it. Do you think the Arab slave trade, right? Do you think they were going around offering them, if you guys convert, we're not going to enslave you?
I think that's a very possible thing, and I think that's what happened. Hence why you hear the
And
terminology
that is what it
spread.
said at the start
And
of
literally, that's why
the
we have the
start.
terminology Islam is spread by the sword.
Yeah.
That's where we get it
The
from.
start of that video as well. That's what it was saying, innit? Like, right, anyone that didn't accept Islam was taken as slave into the Arabic slave trade.
But if you look at it, these guys are going into lands, right, capturing groups of people, castrating them, taking them into their homes, use them as domestic slaves. This clearly isn't a way of spreading Islam, is it? Would you not see this as a horrible kind of similar like the transatlantic slave, a horrible, greedy slave?
But that's the end part. That's for people that didn't accept, isn't it? So obviously they did see it as a way of being able to spread Islam, because if you didn't accept it, that's what was happening to you.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, so you guys, both of you, honestly feel that the Arab slave trade, the Arabs, were Muslims going around trying to spread the deen?
We're trying to spread the deen.
Say that.
You know what, yeah? I'm not saying that they was going around trying to, or it's like, like everyone thinks that everyone or all religions or all so and so's got one big plan on how things started. It's just how they was doing it at that time. And but because 20th century, 21st century right now, man's able to look at human rights laws and see what's wrong and right or whatever, man can say, look, that's not good. I can say that's not Islamic or whatever. But them dudes at the time, as far as they was concerned, it was okay and allowed to do what they were doing, even if bits that ain't in hadith.
Yeah,
there wouldn't have been as many of them carrying out those sort of acts.
Yeah. So obviously, as a Muslim, right, I would look at this situation, and when it's talking about Islamic, the first port of call would be the Quran, wouldn't it? The Quran talks about slavery in a few places, and majority always is talking about freeing slaves, right? It's all about trying to free slaves, atoning your sins, and then even when you go to the Hadith, right, most of it's to do with freeing slaves. So to think that the Arab slave traders were in the business of Islamic kind of form of slavery, I think it's silly. When you look at, that video you showed me where you've got geezers being castrated, rounded up, stuck in markets.
Geezers, proper geezers, mate.
Yeah,
getting castrated, bro. It's a mess.
Anyway, look, I think you need, if you're going to call it Islamic, I think you need to provide some kind of Islamic scripture that backs it up.
That's what you're doing for the remix of the 21st century. That you're saying that we have to provide Islamic scripture that backs it up. When I'm saying that it was the Muslims that was carrying it out at that time, thought that it was okay. Obviously, they thought that this was okay under Allah. So they wouldn't have been doing the extra bits like the castration, these men guarding harems, and all this other stuff, the salt mines, the farming, like the trek from one side of Africa across the Sahara to get them to the ships, all them sort of. I mean, like the people that was dying on the route or whatever. If they didn't think that this was okay, or that they was going to be dying to Jannah for any of these sins, do you honestly think that they would have carried any of those actions out?
Yes, I think it's very possible that they were acting.
If they believed that believed that they was going to be going to Jannah for carrying out any of these actions, and they still carried out these actions, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Jahannam, sorry.
There's no way.
To hell.
There's no way you can justify, unless you're ignorant and twisted. No way you can justify enslaving a people, castrating them, treating them like that, and calling it under the banner of the Quran or Allah. It's not possible, really.
Well, that Sheikh disagrees with you, Jordan. I can say that. He's in fact saying to you guys that you lot should be proud of your religion, be proud of Islam. That's what Islam was. Accept it and be honest. And now, obviously, it's changed. That's what he said verbatim.
The thing is, what you guys are doing is you're literally going on their behaviour and what they're saying. Like, should we not be looking at the Quran and stuff in these situations or not?
Why is Kel not backing up Jordan? Like, why is he leaving him to defend their religion on his own? That's fucked up.
You know what? Kel actually done a great job at already debunking this time ago when we were talking about the Arab.
No, obviously he's a Muslim. I'm surprised.
Kel was saying that obviously any Muslim that comes up to defend this is a pagan. That's
yeah. And he's right. He's right. If you come up and defend the actions of the Arabs, I would agree with that. But what Kel did?
Yeah.
Kale actually provided a lot of scripture and sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that would suggest that the Arab slave trade wasn't Islamic. He did that.
Do you know what though, Jordan? Yeah, hey Jordan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go on, Billy,
it's
go on,
like
Billy, go on.
man's trying, but man just tries to do this thing of like, well, because it doesn't say it in the Quran, and Muslims done it, then it's not Islamic or whatever. It's like, hey,
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
yeah, how you just qualify like that's like a 21st century remix, isn't it? Because like the original point I was making to you first of all was that if these guys honestly thought that what they was, if they thought that what hold on, yeah, if what they was doing thought they was going to send them to Jahannam, was going to make them not be able to see Allah when they pass away or whatever, no heaven or any of that sort of stuff there, why would they carry on carrying out all these practices for this
greed,
many years
money,
under the name of Islam?
Greed, money, power. Okay, give you a load of list. Why?
I think like can I just say one thing, yeah? Like, hey Jordan, yeah, you see if you died, touch wood, yeah, before I think you said recently you said you were married, right?
Yeah, I ain't touching wood.
Right. Pardon? Yeah, that's a why. That's an actual insane one. Like, why did you English people come up with that idiom? But yeah, so God forbid, let's say, yeah. Astaghfirullah, anything happens to brother Jordan before he saves all the Uyghurs, right? But let's say something like and you know for a fact that it is your wife's wish to remain free and not be enslaved. Yeah? Irrespective of the circumstances. So it's your wife's wish to be free. So
free of what? Free of me?
Free of enslavement. No. You passed away now. She's a widower, right? And she doesn't want to be enslaved. That's just a fact we know about your wife. You know, there's like one thing we know about her. She's the kind of person that doesn't want to be enslaved, irrespective of the circumstances. Like, it doesn't matter where she is. She's in the middle of the desert. She doesn't want to be enslaved. Okay. Is there any scenario in which you think it's a good thing that she becomes enslaved?
But that you're bringing emotion into it now, aren't you? So obviously, someone I care about.
No, I'm just asking you a question.
If I was a slave, would I want my wife enslaved?
No, you're not a slave. No, you're Jordan. You're Jordan M, who drives the Bugatti or whatever it is that you drive.
My wife's actually, yeah. So I'm dead. You're enslaved.
Yeah.
Still provided for.
Oh, my wife's saying
she wants to be free.
Yeah, so my wife's saying you still have a house, still have someone provided.
No, even if I was a slave, you'd get that though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, you miss it. Look. I'm asking you, respectfully, and appreciate that your wife's contributing, and we want her to. This isn't an Islamic regime, okay? We want her to contribute.
Yeah.
However, I'm asking you specifically a question. I'm saying you know it for a fact. You know for a fact that it is your wife's wish to not be enslaved. She just doesn't want to be enslaved. Okay? You've passed away, unfortunately. Fucking Uyghurs despair. Okay? Now, I'm asking you, like, do you think there's any scenario in which it's a good thing that the lady who doesn't want to be enslaved becomes enslaved?
Let me think of a scenario. So let's say I had enemies, right? And my wife was then protected under that. If we're going back into days where people are fighting and warring,
right.
Rather that than my wife just being, just walking freely with
allowed to fend for herself, allowed to retain all of her possessions, essentially be independent. So and let's just say she knows about your enemies, all this stuff. I'm saying is, irrespective of whatever you present, any fact you present, she is going to maintain. I want my free. I desire my freedom. That above all else, that's what I want. Do you think there's a scenario where it's good that she gets enslaved?
Would that be? I'll tell you a scenario. I told you a scenario there where, like I said, if she was in danger and that was her protection. But if that wasn't the case, then sure, I wouldn't want her. I'd rather she was free.
No. But like, even if it was the case, like, look, your wife's literally in danger. And she's saying, like, actually, it's my wish to fend for myself, to defend myself. I don't trust. I'm suspicious. It's going to cause more fucking anxiety if I was enslaved. Like, I trust my captors even less than your enemies, blah, 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 blah. Like, she's just a no, innit? Firm no, non-negotiable no, slavery bad. That's what she's saying, yeah? or not slavery bad, like me being enslaved is bad. That's what she's saying. Is there a scenario where you'd be like, "Yeah, it's good that my wife got enslaved by those people"?
Yeah, if she was in danger.
Oh, okay. Because I don't have that intuition. I feel like slavery.
Are you able to go? You know, we're going back centuries here, aren't we? Into a time.
No, we're not. We're talking about contemporary. We're talking about some kind of contemporary scenario. And the main point. Hold on. Well, no, I don't know. But like, I'm talking about 2024. But the main point here is like, all of those things could be offered to her, presumably, without her being enslaved. No? Like, I can protect someone without. I do protect people without enslaved.
Yeah. All right. So if you're asking me, would I rather she was protected and not enslaved? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but no, the idea is that inherently is the slavery a good thing? It's like, I think in most cases, most like rational, like normal people that I'm like interested in associating with would say slavery bad. Like on almost under any guise, it's like a bad thing, right? I have this intuition. Yeah, it's like a really bad thing.
If we're talking about Islamic slavery, right? We're not talking about just someone enslaving my wife like it's in transatlantic slavery.
No. Islamic slavery is
a ball and chain. We're talking about Islamic slavery, right? Where they actually
no, Islamic slavery is slavery.
No, I'm talking about where they actually.
I didn't specify. I didn't speak of any horrors that your wife would.
Yeah, you asked me, is there a situation whereby I would, and like I say, if she was in danger, I'd much rather she was living with people and having rights rather than just being out on her own fending for herself, where she'd literally.
Yeah, but she doesn't. But that doesn't require slavery, though. It doesn't require like what if she was offered? Like presumably, if she was offered terms in which
it would in the scenario that I'm talking about.
Why?
If that scenario doesn't exist and she's safe, then yeah, let's go.
Yeah, what if you see how that's a bit problematic, right? Because what if someone and let's not talk about your wife. Let's talk about someone else, right? What if someone was to offer somebody in exchange for their freedom, in exchange for the freedom, sexual gratification of the person offering the protection? We'd say like, that seems a bit sordid, right? So actually, no. Just the fact that you're offering protection isn't a justification for any subsequent behavior, right? Or any additional kind of request made. That doesn't seem like it's acceptable. So like when you say, actually, I see a situation which is good for my wife to be enslaved. Essentially, you're saying like. I see a good, like that's a fair exchange, like protection for enslavement. But like, I don't know, like, we can kind of push them.
You're basically saying in all situations, slavery is inherently bad, right? That's basically the point.
No, I haven't said that. I'm not saying that. I haven't.
Do you agree with that? Is there a? You do agree with that though, don't you?
I don't really know, to be honest. I'm kind of undecided.
So what is the point of this conversation?
Don't leave me.
No, I'm just interested in your. I'm just interested in your opinion.
I
was just interested in your opinion.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it with you. I'm trying to.
I can say no, but like here's the thing, yeah. Like, there's obviously like kind of more to be discussed in terms of what is bad, what constitutes badness here, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking you from your perspective. It seems like Islamically, it's not really meant to be questioned because if Allah dictates it, then necessarily it just means it's good. I'm trying to give you some kind of intuition pump here to see that it seems like, maybe it was like an impulsive emotion. It seems like in the case of your wife, right? There is no real good reason for her to be enslaved.
I'm not an advocate for slavery. I just see it at a time. As a time when it was necessary. And I see it as a way where Islam actually put it in place whereby over time slaves were freed. So I see it at a time when there were warring tribes. I do see it as a necessary thing for that time. Do I think it's now? Go on.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
I thought it was James talking.
Now,
go on.
So now, though, once again, you're going.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes anyway. I'll go.
Yeah, scholarly consensus would say now, but it's not to outrule it in the future. Not rule it out for future times. Who knows what's going to happen in Islam? Slavery is not.
So if something is perfect, it cannot be subtracted from, right? So to try to say that, well, slavery isn't a part of Islam now because of X, Y, or Z, that's just showing that Islam has morphed into non-Islam, that it's not really
Not
following.
really, not
Yeah.
really. It shows the wisdom of Islam behind some
No.
circumstances whereby
Okay.
With all
people
due
were.
respect, clearly Islam
So
hasn't worked because it's in
so
the
listen,
Arab world, slavery is still
it's
going on
just like
today. So
no,
clearly it's
it's
not
just
perfect
like
and it hasn't
Jordan.
worked.
Jordan,
How
it's
is it?
just
How
like
has Islam not worked? It's
oh my
it's
gosh,
like
It's
it's just
still
how many is it?
continuing today,
Is it a
Jordan.
third of the world is now Muslim
Jordan, it should be
and
outlawed
growing?
completely.
dude.
Literally,
It's
it's
the
carrying
same.
on
No,
today.
no. Listen, it's
So
not.
therefore, it's not
Obviously,
perfect and it hasn't
look.
worked.
If a person who says that slavery is not a part of Islam and that it's not right now, but it could be in the future, that's kafir. That's straight up saying that. Oh well, if a Muslim out there, like, let's put it this way. Let's
No,
say
it's
that.
not. You're
So
waffling.
no. Let's put it this way, dude. Let's put it this way. Let's say that a Muslim country invades a non-Muslim country today, and then they say, okay, we're going to enslave the people of this village after we conquered them. Would you say at that point that what they're doing is allowed in Islam or isn't? Because if you're saying that it's not utilized today, but it could be in the future and you don't know, but then the point that I'm making is if you're going to stand there and say, oh well, slavery isn't a part of Islam today, I'm showing you that it is a part of Islam today. It's just not being utilized.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So, and you're agreeing with me. So it is
No, I'm not
there.
agreeing with you.
It is there, but under the circumstances that we have and the way the current warfare is played out, there is no
No,
need for this
no, that's
type
not.
of prisoners of war.
Then that's no. The reason that's kafir, that's kufar, is because
Oh
that
my
would mean
word!
that the
Being
Muslims
takfir.
are obeying by human rule instead. So it's kind of like if they did take those people as slaves, and they say, hey, we have a Geneva Convention about you can enslave people after you conquer them. And they say, oh, we are going to play by your rules then that means that they are contradicting Allah's statement that slavery is allowed. Now, if they stand by the Quran and Muhammad and still enslave people, then that shows that they are on the hawk. You can't have it both ways.
No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
How did you not follow what I just said?
So you're saying, let me summarize what you're saying, because let's saying there is a method by which in those times where prisoners of war are taken and put in, right? Are you saying that if that's not used, are you saying if that's not used, saying Muslims put people in prisons, right? That's kafar.
So if you do not use the people that you have captured in the way that Islam allows, which is for ransom or for slavery, then you're not abiding by Allah's rules. The point that I am making is when you're trying to say that, oh, Islam doesn't do slavery now because of the way the world is and warfare, the point is if that group who were Muslim went and conquered another group that were non-Muslim, and they said we're going to enslave them, and the world says no, we don't allow slavery, and they said, oh well, we're going to capitulate to what your human rules are, then that would be kufar. That's kafir. That's following the ways of the human and not Allah. So when Muslims conquer people, they are given a set of rules of how to treat those people. None of them are anything other than for ransom or for enslavement. You could set them free. That's true. If you want to, you could just go, oh, hey, here you go back into the desert, run along, or you enslave them or ransom them. There is no option outside of that.
But can I just say one thing, right? Is that you are now all of a sudden agreeing in the prisoners of war. So when it suits you,
no.
Earlier,
no,
earlier,
no. Look at how you tried to manipulate people. Look at how you tried to. Nope. I noticed.
Earlier, you were saying it's not about prisoners of war. It's about
called them prisoners of war. I called them. I said that they were enslaved. I never said prisoners of war. Prisoners of war is a modern concept.
You're just shifting your position.
No, you're not. You're purposely.
You're shifting your position. All right, so to suit whatever you're saying, which is disingenuous because you've known all along about this prisoners of war. You've known all along.
I never once said that if anybody, if Muslims attack people, that they have prisoners of war. I never said that. Prisoners of war is nowhere in the Quran. It's nowhere in the Hadith. Nowhere in the Tafsirs. They call them slaves. Okay, They call
Okay,
them
so
captives
you
and
you don't you
slaves.
so for you it's not about conquering people then.
What are you
It's not
talking
about
about?
conquering a war. There's the prisoners of war. That's his original. But he's been asking me now. He's saying it to me. It's kafar if they have a war and they don't take them as prisoners of war.
No, they
That's
don't
what,
enslave them.
that's what he's
No, they
saying
don't
to
take.
me.
Don't
He said,
no
and they don't take them as slaves, not
Yeah,
prisoners of war. They don't,
yeah.
again, it's not called prisoners of war. It's called slaves.
Well,
That's
That's
what
the
he's
reason
saying.
you
You
are
just keep
trying
saying
to.
prisoners of war.
indentured
You
servitude.
keep saying prisoners of war,
You are
but
really a dirty
you're the
hater,
only
bro.
person that's saying prisoners of war, innit? Even the scholars ain't calling it prisoners of war, bro. They call
Yeah,
it
yeah,
slaves, man.
yeah. There are people that call it prison. I've heard indentured servitude, prisoners of war. Sure, why not? Captives, war captives, they're called as well.
What it says, what does it say?
Are you
What does it
actually
say
being a
in the
prisoner,
text though?
Jordan, or are you being
What does the text say though, Jordan? That's really the way it is, isn't it? What does the text say? Does the text say prisoners of war or slaves?
It doesn't say. It just, so the term slave in Islam is because obviously we're all referred to as slaves to Allah.
Oh my gosh.
It's more to do with a indentured servitude. It would be
It's ownership.
translated as.
It is
Does it say
ownership.
slave or indentured? Wait, hold on a sec, Jordan. Does it say slaves or indentured slaves?
It doesn't
For
say
the
slave.
for the
The
word
term
slave.
slave,
So
Ellie,
Jordan,
the term slave for a
I'll
Muslim. And
disprove
Waiso's cutting me
I'll
off because he knows this.
no, because I'm
The
gonna
term
disprove
slave
what
would
you
be
just
more
said.
to do towards with
I'm gonna
Allah.
disprove what you just said. Because the reason that they are not just indigent servant or anything like that is because there is no enforcement of any penalty for having sex with your slave as a man to a woman. So a man, that's the reason it's ownership, Jordan, because the man can have a wife. He has 4 wives, let's say. He goes to conquer a tribe. He enslaves a woman there. He waits until she's done with her period cycle, and then he has sex with her. That is completely legal in Islam. That's the reason. It's not like what you're trying to say. You're trying to be like, oh, I've heard indentured servitude, prisoners of war. If it was a prisoner of war, we have rules that say you cannot rape prisoners of war. So then that would contradict what you're just saying, or have sex with them.
No,
So
Veli talked about.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, is anyone on? Yeah, sorry. Go on, Jordan. And
No, I was just saying.
if anyone's on laptop, I can share. I can put a video in the back as well.
I don't know what Waiso's waffling on about, but
well, I'm
you
showing
basically
you,
talking
dude, it's
about
not
slaves,
waffling.
right?
No, it's not waffling. It's showing you that they are slaves. They're not prisoners of war by the standard that you're trying to hold, because outside of Islamic law, right, inside of Islamic law, men who capture women and enslave them are allowed to have sex with them and to not be stoned to death or whipped for adultery, for zina. So therefore, that's not an indentured servant. That's not somebody who signs up for 20
But
years.
you've moved on to like concubinage and all sorts. I'm talking about.
No, Jordan.
I'm keeping it to the term slave. Veli's saying that we use that term. I'm saying
what
that.
I'm showing you.
I'm saying that
showing,
generally
Jordan,
people don't use the term slave.
You need to stop. You need to stop and listen. What I
The
just
term
showed
slave,
you,
abd, would be
what I just
slave to
showed
Allah,
you,
which we all are.
no, what I just showed you is even with you
I
trying
ain't.
to say that everybody, oh, we're all slaves to
Speak for
Allah,
yourself,
this and
mate.
that. So listen, what I just showed you when you try to say, oh, well, I mean, we're all slaves to Allah, this and that. Slaves to Allah, right? If they have sex outside of marriage, they get penalized. But slaves of humans, right? They can have sex with those humans and they won't be penalized. The male won't. So what I'm doing is showing that when you try to use this apologetic about, oh, we're all slaves of Allah and it's this way and that way. No, there's a different conversation happening here. You know it. You're just trying your best to.
Right. So can you tell me what your point is?
I'm showing. My point is very simple. What you're trying to do is obfuscate. You're trying to use terms like a prisoner of war. You're trying to say captives and
What word would you prefer I use?
But what I'm showing,
what word would you prefer I use?
They are slaves. They are property.
Slaves.
That's the reason. That's the reason men can have sex with them and not be punished.
And you're giving the reason. You're giving your reason why us Muslims should use the term slave, and we should follow that.
I'm telling you, dude, notice he's not answering anything. He just keeps doing this. Jordan,
you're making mute points.
No,
you're
what
making
I'm
mute
showing
points.
you, anybody who's on the outside can see what I just did. Anybody that is not
Why
Team
so? Do Muslims consider themselves slave to Allah? Do Muslims consider
that?
that?
That has nothing to do with
Just
it.
answer
Go
the
ahead.
question. Do they?
Yeah, I said yes. Yes.
Yes.
So what?
So why on earth would we use that word? We obviously have a different word for what you're talking about in general. That's what I'm saying.
No, you don't. Allah chose
Oh
His
my
words.
word.
So Allah says in the Quran that if the ocean were made of ink, it would dry up before His words. So this means
This
that
is just
Allah
like,
uses His words specifically. And
Yo, can I just say though?
you know what?
Sorry.
I'll use slave just for why so. I'll use the term slave for why so because he
Yeah,
prefers.
But mate, look, can I just want- like maybe I'm saying this to Belly,
I don't mind
but
using the word slave. I don't mind.
the main point though is like the ultimately, yeah, it's gonna bottom out in him being able to say, you know, whatever. He just thinks he thinks that the Islamic system that obviously includes slavery is just like better
Yeah.
than any other system. And ultimately it's just like, you know, ultimately it's just gonna come down to like the kind of moral frameworks we have. And I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest, right? For most contemporary, like, you know, most modern day Muslims, I doubt they actually believe half the stuff they say. Like, I don't think you think it's good.
Okay,
I don't
James.
think you think
James,
slavery is better.
can I do
But like,
a
you're
can I
granted to say
do
you can say what you want. Like,
no?
I
But
have
can
to
I
accept
do
my own
a
research.
can I do a thought experiment with you then?
Go on.
So let's go back to two tribes warring, right? 1400
Yeah.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
And one tribe kill all the men of the others, and the women are
Yeah.
left, women and children are left. What would you do with them?
So who am I in this?
So
That's a
Or am
very
I one of the
specific
tribes?
scenario, isn't it?
Let's say you
So
are the
who am I
victor.
in? Am I one of the tribes?
All right, let's make it at
Okay.
least specific. Let's say you're a victor
Yeah.
of
Okay.
a warring
Yeah.
tribe. There
Yeah.
are some men left. Obviously, these are people that have come to
Yeah.
kill you. Some men left, women
Yeah.
and children. What would you do with them?
well, here's the
Well,
thing
it's
though.
not really. It's not really. He's asking me a
Make them
question.
citizens of your state
No,
or
wait,
your
Yeah, exactly.
organized.
no,
No,
wait.
but
Here's the perfect
ultimately,
answer to
but
that.
hold on.
Yeah.
How the fuck is there's something very wrong with how questions are responded to on these panels, bro? It's like, hello, you know, X, can you answer this question, X? Well, why not let Y Z? But yeah, I mean, pretty much, I'd probably give it a simple answer, simple
I'm
and
genuinely
scientific.
interested
Also,
because
like,
some people
no,
would
but
say I'd kill them. Some people would kill the
no,
men.
but autonomy. Listen, I take
Yeah.
autonomy. I take autonomy, or I take human beings to be like the kinds of things that deserve my moral consideration, and I
Yes.
take autonomy to be like one of those aspects and one that's like highly valued in terms of these moral assessments I make. So, for instance, if I wanted to do a good thing, presumably I would offer them options and give them the ability to decide. And enslavement would clearly be for my benefit. So, given the kind of dire scenario and circumstances that they've been placed in, I would probably be very charitable in that scenario. I probably wouldn't force upon them some rigid set of options,
Yeah.
both of
So what
which
would you do?
were like
What
bad.
would you do?
Here's the
So
problem
like
with what he
Scientific gave
just
a really
brought.
good example. Like, why wouldn't they be offered the opportunity to join my tribe and offered the opportunity to be completely independent of my tribe? Like, why
Well,
wouldn't those be the two
but
options?
Well,
here's
that is actually an option under this. So
no.
they
Here's the
could become
problem.
Muslim, right? They
No,
could
no.
become Muslim.
Yeah,
Here's
but
the
that's what I'm trying to
problem
say.
with
I'm saying, look, they have why so, bro? Just relax for 1 second. Like, why? Like, listen.
That is
The
within
whole
the
point
option.
here is,
Go on.
yeah, but enslavement clearly benefits me in some way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would say that. Enslavement helps you rebuild your even sex slaves helps you rebuild your community. As horrible as it sounds, so I would say sure.
No, but that's what I'm trying to get.
But-
That's what I'm trying to
but
study. You asked me a
there's
question,
also-
yeah.
Well, you
Go on.
need sex slaves to rebuild a community.
No, but you asked me a question, yeah, about like, is slavery inherently
As
bad?
an ex-Muslim, you'll expect
And
that.
while I don't want to commit myself to an answer, because there's probably ways I could conceive of, like, there probably is, you know, like, I don't know, some set, like, you know, my set of instructions maps perfectly onto some chick's set of desires. You know, she's submissive, she wants to be led, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's probably some scenarios I could construct and contrive that, yeah, all right, maybe I'd say that's like not inherently immoral or evil, right? But generally, every conceivable case, I do take to be, so these, for instance, Islamic slavery, all of these kinds of cases, yeah, I take them to be inherently immoral, right? From, you know, based on my kind of perspective. And one of the reasons is because of this violation of one's autonomy, or, like, you know, that one can't consent to it, essentially. Like, that's going to be the primary motivation. And you just describing it as, you know, quote unquote, a horrible scenario. It's like, this is what my fundamental issue is. It's like, actually, I don't think you have the kind. It's similar, like, to the Aisha stuff with the age of Aisha and stuff. Like, most people don't agree that they have the intuition that is acceptable to see a 50-year-old engaged, betrothed, married to. It's also you have to take into account stuff like kind of mental aberrancies or dysfunction or deficiencies. Where like actually, I think someone who's 40 years old may not be consenting. Someone who's afflicted in some way, right? Or doesn't have is cognitively deficient. It's like I don't think it doesn't. So it doesn't matter how fucking old they are. They could be past the age of consent and still not be able to countenance or give consent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that isn't really like, I think this whole idea of like there's this age, this universal. No, the age is used as a proxy, and what we're saying is like, hey, look, we've done this analysis on the majority of young persons and their ability to kind of make decisions and to be cognizant of the impact of or the outcomes of the decisions that they've made, and we say roughly speaking, here's this like age range where we think actually people can sufficiently make these kind of decisions, and then we've taken like the mean of this age or whatever, or the median I should say, and then we're saying like just this is the threshold, and past this threshold there's good reason to believe that they can make these informed decisions. And I like generally agree with that research, or I don't really have reason to dispute it. Whether or not it's like there's some particular case where someone's very immature or very mature, it's like it's not going to be a universal one size fits all standard.
Yeah. So you go on the research of what it is back then, if they're mentally, physically ready.
Look how disingenuous this.
Say that again, sorry, I didn't understand what you heard from what I said.
From what I've gathered, what you've said is you've said that you would go on the research at the time as to whether somebody's mentally or physically ready.
Well, the thing is though, because kind of like diagnostic tools and like analytical tools we have present today, I think they're going to be what we use for the kind of historical analysis. So actually, no, I don't give a shit about what someone said back in the day. I care more about like using the tools, archaeological, anthropological, genetic, whatever. I like those kinds of tools, those kind of studies that are done. I like they are going to be far more valuable, I think, in determining what the age of consent would have been, for instance, in the 7th century, than some testimony or some.
I want to get your stance, Jay. Let's say we go back, right? Let's say we look back and we find out that, let's say, the average age in a particular country 700 years ago, they were getting married at 13. Would you say that's immoral?
Yeah, like based on my understanding, it would be like this. I'll just jump because I feel like this is where it's going. If there was some way to convince me of like full mental maturation at like 13 years old in the 7th century and physical and mental, although I take those to be one and the same, but whatever, right? Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I agree? Then it's like, there's not like an issue there because you're saying like she was mentally ready and physically ready at 13. Yeah. I don't have any good reason to believe that super 13-year-olds do actually exist, and for that reason, I'm not comfortable with, and I'm not a moral relativist, so I don't give a shit if that was the culture. If that was culturally appropriate or acceptable at the time, I don't care. Yeah. Because it's based on my
all I'm trying to do is it's hard. This topic's not always easy because I think you've got to take your mind out of the fact that we live in a society at the moment where.
Oh shit! I gotta go. I'll be back in a minute. All
right.
Yeah, but why though? Because obviously, if it was perfect for all time, and it's given by the person that knows everything that's going to happen, actually plans everything that's going to happen or whatever, why wouldn't he give something that's applicable for all time?
There is something applicable for all time. That's the point. The point is times have changed.
The age of consent in Islam is not applicable for all time.
No, but there is no age of consent.
Exactly. So it's not applicable for all time, is it?
No, but it's physically, mentally ready for marriage. That's what it is. And that obviously needs to be decided, don't it? Let's say you put a bracket age of 18 across all civilizations. I think you're going. That's a dodgy ground.
Why would there be a bracket age of 18 across all civilizations, Jordan?
Particularly as these things could be individual things, right?
No, because obviously there would be some sort of testing that's happened and gone on for them to determine that the average 18-year-old, if they do have a child, if they do get married, do you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't die in the process of them giving birth to a child, or they wouldn't be physically
Yo, Veli, can I point something out?
Done.
So I want to point something out when he says physically and mentally ready. So when he talks about mentally, let's think about 700 AD mentally, right? So let's use his hadith for one. Firstly, what it says she was playing on a swing. Muhammad came and got her. She played with dolls until she was 17 years old. These are in the hadiths. So that doesn't sound mentally prepared to me. But so let's go back to what Islam, because Muslims let's point this out.
Yeah, I know you want to shift off that point. I mean, what is that? What do you think they had Barbie back then?
So no, wait. So what
you're painting it out that way. Go ahead.
No. What I'm showing is she's swinging on a swing set. Her mom comes and puts her into it. She has no idea what's going on. She gets married. She's playing with dolls in the house. Muhammad with her friends. That doesn't sound like mentally prepared. And she plays with dolls until she's like 18 years old. So it doesn't seem. So that seems like it's mentally deficient to me. But when Muslims love to make this argument,
and she was going into battles at like 11 years old.
So So listen.
What? Even if she's going to battle, that's got nothing to do with her reproductive system.
I'm just talking about him. He's presenting a system here.
Focus.
Well,
so then Muslims like to say, oh, well, they have to be mentally prepared. What was mentally prepared in 7th century Arabia? Pretty much everybody was fucking illiterate. They didn't have any form of like construction really or building capabilities or nothing. They just rode around in tents trading spices. The women at that time, what was mentally comparable then and now is completely different. So at that time, could she cook and clean? Yeah, that sounds mentally capable to me. Like,
so because she didn't have a GCSE, you're basically saying. How's the reading and writing got anything to do with it?
No, what I'm showing you is that you're trying to make a relativist argument, right? You're saying, oh, well, back then it was okay.
Yeah, I would say now.
James brought up a concept about his applies for all time. So even by his concept, with your mental acuity.
He didn't say that though, did he?
So he essentially did. So
he didn't.
when you say mentally, right? There is no mental test that Muslims perform for a girl to see if she's able to. No, there's not. So, but what I'm showing is Islam is based off the standard of 7th century mentality, which she can cook and clean, she can play with dolls and swing on a swing set. She's marriable. That would be the mental acuity, because it's not like based off of knowing arithmetic. It's not based off of knowing reading and writing. None of that matters. It's just cooking and cleaning. That's all it is.
So what would your test be then? What would you do? Why so?
I don't believe that we should have to have a test to consider somebody. What are you talking about?
What's your age of consent for all time?
I don't know if there should be one.
So you've got no. Well, then, so what are you bringing?
I'm agnostic on it. Okay. No, what I'm showing is when you're trying to justify Islam and you're saying, oh, well, they have to be physically ready and mentally. If we look at the mental part of it, there is no test that is described in the Quran, the Hadith, tafsirs, blah, blah, blah. All there is the fact that when Islam came about, we have the mother of the believers, right? One of them, she was swinging on a swing set, just dragged in. She played with dolls until she was like 18 years old. So that doesn't sound like mental acuity ready for marriage. But then you're trying to apply it to today's standards. So if you're gonna actually be consistent, then you would say the mental acuity essentially means nothing. Can she cook and clean? If she can do that, she doesn't even have to know how to read and write. She doesn't have to know math. She doesn't even have to know how to trade spices or anything like she was Khadijah. She doesn't have to know any of that. She just has to be able to cook and clean. That's the mental acuity that Islam calls for.
Yeah, this age-old argument of like she's playing with dolls and things like that.
It's in the Hadith and they're
I know it is, but this kind of painting of it that it means she was like a kid with a Barbie doll.
You're not addressing what I just said. You're not addressing.
No, I am. Because you're also talking about reading and writing, like raising a family depended on that back in. No, you're basically again, you're not able to look back.
What I'm showing you, Allah even says to teach people to teach
All right. If I showed
women
you a
to read
country,
and write.
right? If I showed you a country now where they don't read and write,
No, that's not
are you
the
going to say
point.
they
We
can't have
know it's
kids?
not. Okay. So if a woman, you capture her at 7 p.m. and she is on her menstrual cycle, and then you wake up the next day and her husband's still alive, and then she's off of her menstrual cycle, Islamically, are you allowed to have sex with her because she's your slave?
What sort of question is that?
Yeah, well, that's it. Period. End of fucking story.
I actually understand the question. It's a genuine question. I don't get why everyone's jumping
Why are
in.
y'all laughing? Why are y'all laughing about that?
You know, we went straight there, didn't we? We didn't even.
Well, I mean, it's a genuine question.
So Jordan, you're on here championing we respect women and stuff, you say, but I'm wondering to you, in the situation I just gave, is that true Islamically, that you can battle a tribe, 7 p.m., her husband's still alive, he runs away, you capture her and their children, you enslave them, and then you wake up the next morning, she's off her menstrual cycle, you're allowed to have sex with her. Is that true or not?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So, you're not putting age into it. You're talking about a menstrual cycle, right?
Yeah, the Ida, right? The you know what Ida means?
Talking about here.
Yeah, I believe so. So, firstly, in
What's
this case,
Ida
right,
mean?
Firstly, in this case of prisoners of war, right?
I can see
In
this.
the
I
case
can
of
see
prisoners
where
of
this
war.
is going.
Allow this to go. Allow this to go, bro. Go
I'll
on.
give it a minute.
Go on, guys. Go on.
Yeah, so in case of prisoners of war, right, you've got two tribes warring, right, and one side wipes out all the other men. So the way it was in Islamic times was that the women and children would all be there, and the riches as well, right? So the humane thing is actually wouldn't be to leave them there first. Right? You wouldn't leave the tribe there. You don't slaughter them all. You actually take them into your. So obviously you say slaves. We obviously say indentured servitude, whereby Muslims take them in. And remember, this type of slavery was the only type of slavery allowed. Before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came down, there was all types of slavery. People used to capture people, volunteering to slavery. Every type of slavery
Are
was
you going to
abolished.
answer the question?
Every type of slavery was abolished other than prisoners of war, right? So the prisoners of war type of slavery, where you take them in. Sorry?
So you said that was a good thing, and like you tried to argue that was a good thing, then saying that it was.
I'm trying to argue. At the
No,
time,
did he answer the question? I broke up.
I know,
Yeah.
but why so religious? Like, I don't think he's going to answer a direct question. But the fact that he just said then that it was a positive thing for those women being enslaved and not having the freedom is the point.
No, don't let him get away from this. Ask him if it's
He
allowed.
can't get away from anything. Like,
You're the
the
reason
more
I
that
need
he
to
tries to
clarify, because
clarify.
you're so ignorant about it. So I'm
No,
actually
go on, explain how I'm
clarifying
ignorant, because you're the one who's trying to argue that slavery is a better option for a woman than freedom.
No,
They're leaving them
Jordan,
dead.
answer
They're
the
leaving
question
them
that
dead.
I
It's not leaving them dead. Are you
Nobody-
suggesting that if you leave women on their own, that they'll just die? Is that what you're
Nobody's
suggesting
tall
now?
enough to make that statement.
Is that what you're suggesting now, Jordan?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
if you
I'm
just
saying
leave, if you just leave women, a group of 200 women on their own, that they're just going to die. They're not going to be able to cope and live
in
and
those
fend for
times,
themselves.
right? In those
Yeah.
times, they'd have no
Big
protection.
up, Luke. Big up, Luke. Can I just respectfully
Can I
rebut
ask a
what
question?
Jordan said?
So, Jordan, you're not going to answer my question?
Merry Christmas, Banksy, my boy.
Can I give a
Big
little
up,
bit of a
Luke. Big
woman's
up, Taffy.
perspective?
Big up, everyone.
If anyone, if you
I
don't
see some
mind.
cowards
Go
run
ahead,
now.
Betty. Go ahead, Betty. Okay,
Dude,
big
y'all
up,
let Jordan
Heathen.
off the hook
I
again,
just
dude.
wanted to say, look, I just wanted to say, look, there's an idea. I agree with Luke that the idea that, you know, Muhammad and his companions and his co-pilots can come and wage war on a village or a tribe. You say, for example, put myself in it. You kill my husband, you kill my uncle, my grandpa, my son, everything. Then you say, you're going to marry me and take care of me. Believe me, as God is my witness, you would not reach nightfall. I'd kill you by
That's your
nightfall.
opinion.
And I'm sure there are many women that have done that because you're on the premise
Jordan didn't answer the
that all
question.
women
Is it
are
allowed
weak
in Islam?
and they will allow you to come and kill their husband and the men that they care for. You know what I mean? You only want to marry those women to make
Yeah,
yourself
you've got time to
feel
sneak her
better
in.
that you murdered that woman's wife and child. That is what you're doing.
This is literally in one of the hadiths where Muhammad's soldiers had to stay at his tent to make sure that the woman that he just murdered his family and took her to bed wouldn't murder him in the middle of the night. It is literally, they themselves were aware of these events. The Muslims themselves knew.
Banksy, you know full well I don't want to be in a share panel with you. You should jump off.
I know, because you're a coward and you're going to run. Run, coward, run.
Is it allowed to capture, in Islam, is it allowed to capture a woman and her family at 7 p.m., know that she's menstruating, and the next day when you wake up, have sex with her?
Dude, we've heard you say that 5 times.
Why are you using examples like that? Weirdo.
Listen, because that's what's in the fucking Quran. That's what's in the hadiths. I get where he's going with it. Allow Jordan to answer it. If you're saying that he's asked it 5 times, there's a reason why he's still asking, because he's not got an answer from him.
Yeah, so I'll answer it, right? So, firstly, Banksy, I want you to jump off, basically. I want you to jump off, and I'll explain to people why. So
I won't jump off. You coward. You can
Just
run.
explain why, Jordan. Just explain why
I'm not
first.
going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, Jordan. You can run like the coward that you are.
Notice he tried to get away from the answering again.
Banks there, jump it, mate.
Listen, we're not getting nowhere by adding our random comments in that are just not relevant to it at all. Banksy is here, just ignoring for now, Jordan. The question is that why so religious asked you. He's asked you a clear question. Can you please just answer that for the fucking Allah's sake, if anybody's?
I can't even remember it now. Anyway.
All right. So
okay. So if a woman, you capture her at 7 p.m. and she is on her menstrual cycle, and then you wake up the next day and her husband's still alive, and then she's off of her menstrual cycle, Islamically, are you allowed to have sex with her because she's your slave?
what sort of question is that? I believe the answer to Waiso's question, right, is yes, right? And the thing is, the woman doesn't have to sleep with the man, right? So there is a choice there. Obviously, these women are taken into men's houses, right? And they don't have to have sex, but obviously women do have needs within this paradigm that we're talking about.
Having you here now, I see things are going to be brighter. Oh, I'm feeling you here now, I know I might make it through. Oh, loving you this long has made me believe in forever. And with you, these dreams I've gotten might somehow come true. And knowing your grace this well just makes me want to be better. Oh, and knowing your heart this well makes me wish mine would grow. Oh, my love, and loving you this much makes me want to write sweet songs forever. With a little love, babe, we could make the whole world know how much I love you.
Right? You battle a tribe, and then the men even run off and they're still alive. You capture their women and their children, you enslave them, but you're allowed to have sex with them as long as they end their menstruation cycle. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So if a woman capture her at 7 p.m. and she is on her menstrual cycle, and then you wake up the next day and her husband's still alive, and then she's off of her menstrual cycle, Islamically, are you allowed to have sex with her because she's your slave?
what sort of question is that? I believe the answer to Waiso's question, right, is yes, right? And the thing is that the woman doesn't have to sleep with the man, right? So there is a choice there. Obviously, these women